should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for the support. My goodness. Cara sent 10 speculation station memberships. Those went to She Calls Me Gabba, Kat's Hodge Podgery, Sophia Petrillo, Jennifer Blair, Rachel, Crunchy Frog, Therapist You Know, and Mama Bear 2222. I'm gonna play the Polar Express to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Cara. Hold on. Thank you so much. Cindy also gifted 5 memberships before that, and those went to Lulu Adapa, These Nuts, Norma Guerrera, AMG 357, and Alex Reese. And then Chow Young gifted 5 memberships, and those went to Diella Wing, Bed Bugs, and Bad Decisions. Oh my God. You did not do it. You did it. Lord of mercy. Um, Google me Lou and JoJo's Crime Lines and Mysteries. So I'm going to grab the crazy train to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. If you were gifted from Cara, Chow, or Cindy from sunny South Florida and you are aware, please tell them thank you. Thank you guys so much. That was so very sweet of you guys. I'll grab the crazy train. Hold on. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Thank you so very much. And Cindy said, I hope everyone who is sending gifts are also using your Google Play points. It's an awesome way to earn and send free gifts. You know, I have a bunch of Google Play points and I had no idea what they were used for. So I'm glad you informed me to what that was about because now I'm going to look into it. Curious Christine, thank you so much for the super chat of the hearts. That was so very sweet. Y'all are so kind. I love our community. Y'all are amazing and awesome and sweet and supportive. I can't believe it. Y'all are so sweet. I really y'all have made my entire week better than it was. Thank you for that. Chow Young has been a member for 2 months. Yay, that's so awesome. Thank you for being a member for 2 months. That is amazing. I really appreciate that so very much. And Bogart has been a member for 7 months. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. Um Bogart says, awesome channel and chat. Love you all. We love you too. Thank you for that. Y'all are so sweet. I appreciate everybody being so kind and sweet today. Y'all are amazing. Um, so let me say hey, Kat, Abellis, Vero, Crystal Burns, Amanda, Hannah UK, Tom, Vero, Shadow, Cara, Bogart, Miss Sarah, Edith, I saw was here, Indy, there you are, Annabelle, there's Edith. AM is here. Anders is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Curious Christine is here. Good to see you. I think my chat jumped. Rio's here. Tammy's here. Hi, Lori Green, Nicole. It's good to see y'all. Connie's here. Good to see you. Donna's here. Lori's here. Lori Green. Donna Gardner. All in Tanks. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, Crime Wars. Good to see you. Holly's here. Nono's here. Sandra's here. Good to see you. So glad y'all are here. Shauna's here. Curious Christine Native Girls here. Good to see you. One Sunny Day. Southern Cats. Jenny Jen. West Side Crime Show. Glitter is Forever. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, let me know and I'll shout you out. Bed bugs and bad decisions. I was in a chat last night, and they were talking about she's so funny. Y'all need to check out Lady K if you haven't. she was talking about Stephen Stern's name of his book should be Bed Bugs and Bad Decisions. I could not help it. I died. I died right then. Roxanne, thank you for being here. Oh my goodness, Rio, thank you for the super sticker. I want to see what it was. I like super stickers. Oh, it's a little cute little fox. And it says bye. If you're leaving, bye. Thank you so much, Rio. I appreciate that. A name here. Good to see you. Holly. Yep. Good to see you, native girl. Okay. Hannah UK and Hannah, all the Hannahs that are here, good to see you. Jill Corby, good to see you. All right. So today we're going to talk about the emails. I'm going to start at the beginning and we're going to go over them. How am I getting to my emails? Okay. This way. And I'm gonna go over them and tell you what I was feeling, what I was thinking, why I said the things that I said. Hold on. When was July 9th? I think that's the old one. Okay. Yeah, that's the old one. I was like, wait a minute, is he trying to talk to me again? Because I really ain't got nothing to say. Okay, so let's go to sent. Yeah, you're not currently connected with anyone to send messages because he was like, Mama said I can't talk to you no more. So I got to take my ball and go home. Okay. So we're going to start here. Let me get my overlay. Somebody wants to steal that. There you go. Have fun with it. There we go. Ladies cake. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. There it is. Let me share it out. I want to grab this. She's doing the honor killings trial right now. And I did want to look into that. Oh, we do got something to talk about before we go today. Donna, good to see you. Donna Barkley. Well, the thing is, good to see you. Victoria, good to see you. Snarky Pants, good to see you. I missed a few people now that I'm looking at my phone. Okay. Y'all, I get so sidetracked. I need to write down 1405. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. So I've got something else to talk to y'all about. Jose Morales was sentenced. We can't play together. Oh yeah. Sorry, Mama said I can't play with you anymore. Hey, Kimmy C123, good to see you. Funny how Mommy keeps inserting herself in Chomo's prison life, right? Like it hasn't been any different this whole entire time. So I don't know why it would be different now. I don't know. More power to them. All right. So I sent a message. Now, the time period actually, I know exactly what day I sent it because it was the day I did a live stream. So we'll look at the live stream I did because I was really pissed off. And I was like, and I also knew that Guilty of Crime had been emailing his mother or getting messages talking to his mother. And I was really pissed off after I found out some information. I'm on videos, not lives. And I was like, why not go directly to the source? I wanted to ask him about Figment. Figment. Figment or Figment. Because it really bothered me that Maddie's I think it's Discord or Instagram name was Figment. And that was the ride he worked on. And he talks about it in that email where he talks about where he worked at Disney. Definitely ain't there. It was in April. It's got a purple dragon. I mean, I could tell you through the email, but I remember what day it was because that live stream pissed me off. I probably passed it 5 times. There it is. There is a connection, and I'm not sure anyone has caught this. If you click this, April 3rd, 2025. There he is in all his glory working that damn ride, and Madeline's um Madeline's name was Little Figment on Discord. There's a paper that shows it. So it was right there, affidavit for pen register Instagram Little Figment. That's Maddie's Instagram name. And that shit pissed me off. That was April 3rd. Now we'll go back to the messages. And this was sent April 3rd. Yep, 10:47 p.m. So that night, I said, "Hey," he accepted my request to talk that night. And so I wrote him back and I said, "Hey, I appreciate you accepting my request to talk. I honestly didn't think you would. So I'm unsure where to start. Your vocabulary is a lot more advanced than mine, so forgive my ignorance. I am a blunt and honest person, so I will not insult you with lies." Now, I'm just going to read it right now, and then we're going to go back through and I'll tell you what I was thinking and feeling. I want to know who you are. I know the headlines and the information that is out, but I don't understand. As someone who has been in court before, I understand you can't talk about the case as it might jeopardize your defense. So again, I won't insult you by trying to talk about that. Hopefully one day we can. For now, if it's okay with you, I would like to know who you are. What kind of person would you describe yourself as? If you don't want to answer that, can you tell me if you have always had a love for literature? When did you get into Pokemon? I remember in school I had a Charizard that would be worth a lot of money if I still had it, lol. I'm very close in age to you. I remember having Tamagotchis. Mine always died, because I forgot to feed them. I remember finding them and almost crying because I had forgotten them. It affected me like having a real pet would. I used to be, quote, gothic, but now they call it emo. That reminds me of like Avril Lavigne, and I was more into Korn and Slipknot, if that makes any sense. I apologize for the spelling in this letter and the "oh, look a squirrel" aspect of it. Laugh out loud. I too am ADHD. Like I said earlier, I don't know much about you and would like to know more. I've told you a little about myself. Is there anything about yourself you can share with me? I understand if you cannot. I really just wanted to try. And again, thank you for accepting my request. I hope to hear from you soon. Okay, hold on. So obviously, there has, like, if I'm mean to him, he's not going to talk to me. You liked Avril? See, that reminds me of like emu. I was quote unquote gothic. I wasn't like diehard goth, but I wore the black and the eyeliner and the seatbelt belts and the Converse. I actually like DC shoes better, but I did all of that. I was very outcast. I was more of an outcast than anything. Sandra said tons of Disney employees are arrested for the sick behavior. Reason I let Disney Pass go, and so did my children with the grandchildren. Yeah, I've never been to Disney, and I don't really want to go. I'm not big on rides though. Oh, because we're talking about emails, Julie. I just thought it'd be funny. Have you emailed the thumbs up? Okay. So yeah, I didn't think that he would accept my request to talk, but when he did, I was like, okay, well, what do I talk about? What do I say? Like, of course, I'm going to feed his ego, right? Like, so it starts, "Hi, I appreciate you accepting my request to talk," because I did. "I honestly didn't think you would, so I'm unsure where to start." That's all true. I didn't think he would accept my request to talk, so I didn't know where to start. So I'm going to start by feeding his ego. Your vocabulary is a lot more advanced than mine, so forgive me for my ignorance. I'm already presenting myself as being not necessarily beneath him, but feeding his ego and making him feel like he's smarter than me. He does have an extensive vocabulary using words like meandering and all of the things, but again, the purpose was to feed his ego. I am a blunt and honest person, so I will not insult you with lies. I am blunt, I am honest, and the only time I really lied to him was one time, and that was when I said I'm not a YouTuber. And I don't think I said it. I think I said it in a roundabout way where it could technically mean that maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I mean, that's just me playing semantics. Honestly, I presented it in a way to make him believe I was not a YouTuber. So therefore, I'm going to call it a lie. If we want to play semantics, we can, but I'm just going to call it a lie. That's the only lie I really told. And then I said, I want to know who you are. I know the headlines and information that is out, but I don't understand. I mean, again, I wanted to know not necessarily who he was. I know who he is, but I want to know more about what happened in the household. What was Jen's role in this? Why Maddie? Why all of those things? Hey, Orange Rose, good to see you. Dainty Dane. Shoot, she said shoot fire. That reminds me of shit fire and save matches. I let time get away from me. Hey, y'all, I'm just listening. Well, good to see you. Nene Nut, good to see you. Oh, thank you. Y'all have been so kind and supportive. I really appreciate that. Miss Canada, Indie Girl, Steph, good to see you. Barrow, you're welcome, Julie. Smash the thumbs up if your country is fuck. I can't believe he said that to his mom. I am country as fuck. There are some out there more country, but Southern Cat said our high school band performed at Disney, so we stayed a few days. Every time one of our kids got out of my eyesight, I freaked out. I would too. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to go back and continue reading the email. I keep clicking on the wrong page. All right. So I said, as someone who has been in court before, I understand you cannot talk about the case as it might jeopardize your defense. So again, I won't insult you by trying to talk about that. Now, yes, I have been in court. I've never had to be defended really like, oh, she pushed a cart out of Walmart and was attempting to steal. It's pretty cut and dry. You got me on camera. I ran. You said you were going to tase me. I stopped immediately. Like, I don't know. It's pretty cut and dry when I messed up. So when I went to court, they usually sentenced me to probation or gave me, 30, 60, 90 days in jail. And that was about it. But when I went to jail, I was in court with people who had to go to trial. Because when you go to jail, you're like, okay, what did you do? How'd you get here? What are your charges? What are you doing? Like, how long do you got? And et cetera, et cetera. And so there were girls that had been in there that kind of ran the pod. They were usually the ones that were trustees or in charge, and they would have been the ones in there for a year, 2, 3, or whatever. And they didn't talk about their trial, but they would say, like, one of them was in there for trafficking drugs, and another one was in there for some dust in a baggie, making shake and bake in her bathroom. So and it's not that hard to figure out that you can't talk about trial, because if you talk to somebody about trial, then they can go run and tell it, and then jailhouse snitching and all that. That's why you don't do that. And then your case is jeopardized. Oh my goodness, Cindy, thank you so much. Cindy said, allegedly speculating, nothing has changed. We're all a day older and wiser. Period. Thank you. That was so sweet. Hey, Mother Sleuth. Rebecca Ross. Yes, this email is from me. Thank you, Cindy, though. That was really sweet. I can't thank y'all enough for being so kind and accepting and understanding of everything. I've never seen so much of an outpouring of love and compassion and kindness, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. So, with every fiber of my being, thank you guys for everything and being so kind and sweet. I really do appreciate it. I can't even thank y'all enough. I love Gothic clothes too, even now. Canadian concepts are different too, depending on what province one is from. Yeah. Shaker Maker, good to see you. Baby Boomer, good to see you. What would I have done if I had been in jail with Sarah Boone? I probably would have stayed away from her. I don't like her. Like her attitude, her ignorance, Sarah Boone, from what I've heard from the emails and seen, she knows that people want to talk to her, and she wants to talk to everybody. And her ego is just like, I would not have been able to deal with that. I could not. And me and her probably would have gotten a fight or something. I don't know. Really? You think so, Amanda? Thank you. Yes, thank you all for your support and for supporting us. Okay, I'll continue reading. So, for now, if it's okay with you, I would like to know who you are. What kind of person would you describe yourself as? So, that I wanted to see what kind of person he would describe himself as. And he did just that. He describes himself as someone who is kind, loving, compassionate, a complete line of bullshit. I wanted to see, would he say, well, I'm a person who's made bad decisions and trying to do better in life. I don't know. I'm a person who wants to learn from my mistakes, but no, we talk about how compassionate and loving and caring he is. So I wanted to see which road he was going to take. Was he going to say that I'm someone who needs to learn how to be a better person, or I'm this, I'm not the person you think I am? And he went right down the road with, I'm not the person you think I am. Yeah, of course you're not. Everybody says that. Okay, and then I wrote, if you do not want to answer that, can you tell me if you've always had a love for literature? That I was kind of being snarky there, because of all the books that his mother has sent him. Hey, Edith. Yes, Sarah Boone is a narcissistic, entitled brat, in my opinion, as well. Oh yeah, a misunderstood sob story. Exactly, exactly. His mother is taught him he doesn't make any mistakes. It's always the other person's fault, like Sarah Boone. Exactly. Hey, Miss Bitchy. I am sorry people said such awful things. Believe in my gut, they wanted to bait and out you because it wasn't their idea. I think so too, honestly. Stephen Stearns did a Sarah Boone, no shackles, a real pen, snacks, and eyeliner in court. Yep. Just watched Grown Ups last night and had that scene from the guy from Saskatoon in my head. Hey, Lisa Lynn, good to see you. We were watching that the other day. It's funny you say that. The kids and Jay and Mr. Speculating were watching that the other day. Okay, so next it says, when did you get into Pokemon? Now, I did that because of the picture where all the Pokemon cards are on the table scattered all over the place. Let's see if I can pull that up. I'm sure y'all remember. Hold on. Hold on. If I can find it. I'm going to see briefly if I see it, but like it could be in a number of videos. But I'm sure you remember, like, on the table where his book bag was, there was Pokemon cards scattered all over the floor like they fell out of his book bag. I think it's after that. It's personal cell phones. It's in one of these. Let's see. Oh, sure. Thank you for doing that. Hold on a minute. Let me find it real quick. I got chitlins arguing. This one doesn't show it right there. It goes into Jen's room again. Da-da-da-da-da. There's Maddie's room. The car. Nope. It's probably going to go all the way back to the beginning. Yep. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The video where all the Pokemon cards are on the table. So I knew he was into Pokemon. He's talked about going to the Pokemon shops when he was looking for Maddie and all of that. You guys, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'll put it when I read these out on a video, I will put it in there. So I asked him about Pokemon. I remember I had a Charizard card that would be worth a lot of money if I still had it, LOL. I did have a Charizard card, but I don't know if it I don't know if it was worth a lot of money. I don't know if it was a first edition. I know that I had a Charizard card from when they first came out because I was in, I think, 7th or 8th grade. And this boy that liked me gave me his Charizard card because he had like a bunch of them. And I probably threw it away over the years, but I had that one Charizard card, and I've thought about it over the years, and I'm like, if I kept that card that boy gave me, I might be rich right now. So I don't know if it was a first edition or not, but that was a true statement. Booty Bandit coming to town. And then I said, I remember having Tamagotchis. Mine always died because I forgot to feed them. I do remember having Tamagotchis. Mine did always die because I forgot to feed them because I would click them to my book bag and then come home from school and then just let them hang there and I would never feed them. I remember finding them and almost crying because I had forgotten them. It affected me like a real pet would. I did almost cry when you have like a Tamagotchi and you're a young child in the mindset of a young child and you find that it's dead. It's like I killed it. Like, I don't know, it did affect me, it upset me. It was stressful to find it dead because I'm like, "Oh my god, I killed it. I'm a horrible person. My pet died and it wasn't even real." Anyway, I used to be gothic, but now they call it emo. So, yeah, I used to be, like, mainstream goth, not like Cradle of Filth goth, like, authentic goth, I guess. I used to wear gothic clothes. I was into Korn and Slipknot were my favorite bands at the time. Alice in Chains, I like that too. Always liked them. Pearl Jam, bands like that. So it's not like, actual goth. I had friends that were actual goth and would tell me you're not actually goth, but like, I only wore black. My history teacher called me child of darkness, all those things. But if it was now, it would be more of an emo thing. I did like Avril Lavigne. I did have one of her CDs that had that Skater Boy song on it. Um, just talking about myself, when I reference Avril Lavigne, I'm explaining how these things are true. Miss Scorpio, thank you for gifting a membership. Let me see if I can scroll and see who it went to. That went to Galen. Galen, if you're here and you are where you were gifted for Miss Scorpio, please tell Miss Scorpio thank you. Thank you, Miss Scorpio. That was so sweet and supportive. And I will grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. I'm sorry, I had to get a sip of my drink. Thank you so much, Miss Scorpio. Hey, Tom. My daughter was into grunge, but she loved Pearl Jam. I like Nirvana and stuff too. I'll wear black until they create a darker color, right? You like the bluegrass yesterday? That's Mr. Speculating got me into that one. That's a funny song to me. But Billy Strings, if you've ever seen him play, he's really good. Okay. I was more in the Korn and Slipknot, if that makes any sense. I apologize for the spelling in this letter and the "oh look a squirrel" aspect of it. LOL. Oh look a squirrel is someone in our chat, and they had just come in, and I was like, I need to relate to him somehow. So how do I relate to him to feel like he's got a person to talk to that he can relate to? So I go to ADHD because he talked about it so many times in the interviews. Oh, I'm ADHD. I can't remember. I forget things, all of that. So I was like, well, I do have ADHD. So we'll go down that route. Miss Scorpio said, I'm going to be checking out this entire video later tonight. Have a great day, everybody, and encourage each other. We're all rock stars. Thank you so much, Miss Scorpio. I hope you have a good day. And thank you for that. I had a pet rock that died in the 70s. I swore I'd never get another one. I took a gummy and I never do. Today I did. Every time she said Pokemon, it sounded like Poke Me Man. Ah, that's funny. You don't have to worry about that. Lisa, good to see you. Yeah, there's Oh Look a Squirrel. Oh Look a Squirrel had just come into my chat. And so I pulled that and I was like, let me go with the ADHD aspect. So I used their screen name and was like, I apologize about the Oh Look a Squirrel aspect of it. I too am ADHD. So he could relate. Oh, you're ADHD too? Let's talk about that. Like I said earlier, I don't know much about you and would like to know more. I've told you a little about myself. Is there anything about yourself you can share with me? I understand if you can't. I really just wanted to try. Again, thank you for accepting my request. I hope to hear from you soon. And again, like even right here, you can tell the underlying kind of psychology behind it because right here, I really just wanted to try. Again, thank you for accepting my request. I just wanted to try and see if he would accept my request, and he did, which really surprised me. And so that's again in my head. They call it leaking, but I call it like a Freudian slip. I really just wanted to try. Again, thank you for accepting my request. But I put it as, can you tell me anything about yourself? That's not really what it was referencing, if that makes any sense. And I wrote, I hope to hear from you soon. So now we'll see what he said back. He responded on the 5th at 2:20 p.m. So what was that? 3 days later? No, a day and a half later. He says, "Hello, Jessica." Now I can't tell you what he was thinking, obviously. Should I ask about the root beer barrels? I didn't ever ask about that, but we do talk about commissary. Yes, that is me. Congratulations to our Hannah for her shiny new blue. Oh, yes, congratulations, Hannah, for that. I'm very proud of you and glad you are now a moderator. Pet rocks are awesome. Love how low maintenance they are. They are. It's funny that you had one that died. I can't imagine how that happened. It's hard to imagine how someone would get emotional over an imaginary digital pet can harm someone and kill humans. Well, that was me talking, Dainty Dane. But I think he does say that his died too, but I don't know if he got emotional over him. I got emotional over him, but I'm like, the type of person, my goose that I have, my child brought it home with a hurt foot, and I'm like, oh, we got to save it. I have saved multiple woodland creatures. I've had like 6 birds that I've saved and let go. Starlet came back. Starlet was my baby. I need to show y'all videos of him. He was awesome. And then Basil was gonna die if I didn't take care of him, and I've had him since he was 6 hours old, and that's my other baby. So I'm very much a emotional person. Okay, awesome, Dainty. Should have told him I am a root beer barrel. I identify as a root beer barrel. Yes, I am meandering in the garden. All right. So obviously, I can't tell you what he's thinking, but he responded, "Hello, Jessica. I am surprised that I accepted as well. Perhaps it was out of boredom or curiosity." Now, I'm wondering, like, has nobody else emailed him? Like, I really don't think that's true. And he talked about other people emailing him, and we've seen it on these YouTube streets, but like I think everybody's emailing him and like, letting their feelings out to begin with. Like, hey, how are you, you piece of fucking dog shit on the bottom of my shoe? You molester, you murderer, you horrible fucking human being, because he is, you piece of shit, you egotistical son of a biatch. But he's not going to respond to that. Like he didn't. So I don't know. I don't know if I was the first person that was nice to him, so he responded. He says, out of boredom or curiosity. He says, I avoid random requests normally since I really don't want to be harassed. You are correct. I cannot and will not get into detail about anything having to do with my cases, but maybe some lighter topics would be okay. So, to answer your first question, I would describe myself as kind hearted, compassionate, deeply empathetic, and loyal to my family and friends and the people that I care about. So that's something that he's wanted to put out here for a long time. Deeply empathetic. Let's look up the definition of empathetic. I know I spelled it wrong. Yeah, right here. That's what I want.
Empathic.
Empathic. No, I put empathic. THET. There we go. Showing an ability to understand and share the feelings of another.
Empathetic.
There we go.
Empathetic.
I don't know if y'all can hear that. Sometimes you can't. Empathetic. Showing, I'm sorry about my overlay, showing the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Now, if we go back here, to this email. He says he's deeply empathetic. I want you to tell me how you were deeply empathetic when it came to Maddie. Were you able, if you're so empathetic and you're showing the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, how do you think Maddie felt? Like, were you just deeply empathetic when it came to everybody except Maddie? Compassionate. Like, I could look up all these words. Compassionate. Were you compassionate when you were abusing her? Did you give a shit? You didn't give a shit about her schooling because she's falling asleep in class and failing all her grades because the poor child can't sleep at home because he won't leave her the fuck alone so she can sleep and go to school with sound mind and sound body and thought process. No, no, no. That's not important. Screw her education. Let's just, do all the things to her in the middle of the night. Pathetic is more like it, right? A name here. So, in other words, you're everything he's not. Pretty much, Tom. But I didn't say that. He didn't care. Narcissist 100%, in my opinion. Right. Exactly. But he's describing himself, so kind-hearted. Were you kind-hearted when it came to Maddie and how you laid her in the prone position out there in the middle of the field? Hold on just a minute. It's carrots. So I'm doing what's called rebel canning, okay? So it has to like boil for 3 hours. I appreciate it, but it's fine. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. Okay. Hannah said he has delusional mindset that is better than everyone else when in fact he's the lowest of the low, in my opinion. I agree. It's thundering. I might not have to water the garden tonight. Mother Sleuth said, yeah, I keep thinking of his insomnia keeping her up all night. Yeah. And I don't think he has insomnia either. I think he sleeps all day, so he stays up all night, and that messes up his sleep schedule. I can tell you, if I take a nap during the day, I'm going to be up all night. Vera said even Jen said that he thought of himself as the smartest one in the room, and she also added, I don't think he is, though. And I mean, if Jen saw that when we're going to say that she was on medication to the extent that she had to be walking into walls to not know what Maddie's going through, but even she saw that should tell us everything we need to know. Sedating her before he harmed her is probably what he considers compassionate, in my opinion. Another great point. It could be, allegedly. For Stephen Stearns, people other than himself aren't quite real. That's such a compound statement. I mean, and in so many ways, they're not real. They're not real. Like he's above them. They're not real. Like I think he's more used to having people on the internet to talk to instead of in real life, because on the internet you can be whoever you want to be. Controlling, not compassionate. Some people can. Hey, Michelle. I'm me all the time. Like I am me. It is what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. I can't be somebody else that I'm not, and I can't lie. I'm not a good liar. So, but some people get on the internet and they put out this whole facade of like, I'm this wonderful person. And, meanwhile, they're murdering and raping 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old children. So, All right, continuing. When I decide someone is my friend, I tend to take their burdens onto myself. Their problems become my problems too, because I've always believed that is what friends are for. I don't believe that for 1 nanosecond. Unfortunately, not many people are willing to reciprocate when times are hard for me. And again, I think that that's what everybody just heard about. What are you willing to do for me? What are you going to do for me? These times right now are hard for me. Where are you at? Nobody wants to be associated with you because of what you did. Were you thinking about the thoughts, feelings, processes of others, friends that you might be hurting, the fucking child you were hurting, literally? Like, were you thinking about any of that when you were doing all of that stuff to her? No. When times are hard for you. What about when times were hard for her? Like, mm-mm. And that's when I usually find out who the fair weather friends are. Everybody needs somebody, that's a good friend that'll stand by them and all of that. But I don't think he had very many of those, because even when we talk about Chase, when we went over that interview where he talks about stuffing with the horses and what he did and putting his semen in girls' drinks and watching them drink it at parties and finding it absolutely freaking hilarious. I mean, that tells you who he is as a person. Chase needed a place to stay. Chase or Chance, I can't remember his name, needed a place to stay. So he kind of put up with it because he needed a place to stay. But even him, like someone that lived with you that can tell us probably more about you than your own parents can, because that's your friend. They're going to know you better than your parents do. Said that he couldn't stand him and that Deb and Stefan's relationship was really weird. And we heard that in the beginning, but now that the jail calls have come out and emails are being put out and all of this, nobody had to tell us that. We can tell. Like, I don't it she's coming out here and trying to save face, in my opinion, for herself and her son, but it's like, you're again, actions speak louder than words. We already know it's not because people are talking shit about you. It's because of what you did. Like, we see the emails, we read the emails, we heard the jail calls where you said it's Maddie's time to go. You talk shit about her damn grandmother, her only place of safety in the whole world. That's why she stayed there, in my opinion, at Yolanda's house. Like, y- you did that way before anybody started talking shit about you. People are talking shit on your actions. Those are two different people. Chase and Chance, do I have it? Do I have it wrong? If I do, I apologize. Yes, Jessica. My name is Jessica. Legal on my birth certificate, because in order to buy credits, see here, purchase credits, I have 350 transfer credits, prepaid account, and PIN accounts. In order to purchase credits, your name has to match your credit card, because you have to put a credit card on file that they can charge to buy the credits. Because when I send these emails, I have to pay 50 cents and send back 50 cents so he would talk to me. That's another thing. Like, if you're going to email him, you have to send him the money to be able to write back. So all that he had to do was click on the email and he had a credit to write me back, because that way he's not spending his own money on it. That's the only way I spent money in this whole situation. I never sent money to him. I never bought anything for him, none of that. But I mean, obviously, he's not going to pay to talk to somebody. So if you want to talk to him, you're going to have to pay for him to be able to talk to you. So it's like 50 cents per email. So I would pay the 50 cents and then I would send him 50 cents so he could write back to me, and it would be completely free. No doubt. Boomer said, I hate the fact that he will get to see the evidence. I want to see the reaction on his face when they show that in court. I want to see if he acts like he's remorseful or if he rebels in it, if he enjoys it. The Seaman kid never stayed with them. Okay, I might have that wrong. It's been months since I've listened to that interview. I thought it was the one that stayed with them is the one that saw him putting semen in the women's drinks. So I could have that wrong. If I do, thank you for the correction, baby boomer, and I do apologize. Native Girl said, I would love to see Jen's face. I'm sorry. I would love to see Jen face charges because she sent her little lamb right into the lion's den. I would too. We have to be able to prove in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt that she knew where she was sending Maddie and that she knew what was going to happen when she did. I think they can. It's got to be in them phone records. Deb's not going to let us know that she's here. But I've heard rumors that she's got different screen names. Anyway, back to the email. I love animals and have a habit of bringing home stray or orphaned animals from an early age. Oh, hold on. I love animals and have had a habit of bringing home stray or orphaned animals from an early age. I once had a pet squirrel that I brought home when I found him curled up in the ball on the ground as a baby before his eyes were even open yet. Brought him home in my vest pocket. Like, I could imagine little Stephen Stearns running around with a little vest on and glasses and like your Sunday best suit, the suit that's in the closet that you only wear to church on Sunday. You know what I'm talking about? One of those with a baby squirrel in his pocket. So brought him home in my vest pocket and begged my parents to let him stay. His name was Skippy. Now I believe that because in the jail phone calls they reference Skippy. I think okay, let me continue reading and then I'll tell you what I think about it. But they do talk about Skippy in one of the jail phone calls. He said, I also had a baby blue jay that I found in a similar way. Once I found a kitten on the side of the road who seemed to have been hit or at least clipped by a car and proceeded to drive him around for hours looking for a vet clinic that was open on the weekend while my friend held the kitten in her lap. So that, I mean, I think if the cat did get clipped, he possibly did it. I'm sure he did not pay any vet bill for the kitten to be seen. And if he did, it was on daddy's credit card. The blue jay I've not heard about. I have heard the name Skippy as a squirrel. And we hear that Skippy at some point chokes on a stick. It's in one of these emails. And I think it's because he got bored with Skippy. Skippy was fun in the beginning. And then, like children do, he looked at it like a play toy and got bored with Skippy and didn't pay attention to Skippy. And that's how he probably died, if I had to imagine. AM said, I can't take out of my mind how much he will enjoy watching whatever is shown during his trial. They need to have his hands cuffed when he is sent to his jail cell. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. It's going to piss people off, and the jury will see it if he does. Sandra said, he's so sick, I bet he smiled when they said that. And worse, the state attorney said there is also 5 videos with sound. Oh, wow. I didn't even hear all that. So there's 5 videos with sound? Oh, my God. Hey, Pinky, good to see you. A name here said, in my opinion, the lawyers and mommies will advise him not to look at the pics and try to look sad. Yep, I think so too. Baby Boomer said he won't get to see the pictures at the trial. So I think what we're thinking about and what we are referencing is the fact that when they go for the CSAM trial, the jury's going to have to see and hear the videos of Maddie and the pictures of Maddie. But they did reference putting it on a whiteboard. So it might only be shown to the jury. I don't know. I don't know if he will be able to see that whiteboard or not. All right. This part right here, I literally like almost died when I read it. Life is a precious thing to me, be it animal or human. When I see something or someone in pain, my natural reaction is to want to help if I can. What kind of bullshit is that? Life is a precious thing to me, be it animal or human. He's talking about Maddie. Life is a precious thing to me, be it animal or human. When I see something or someone in pain, my natural reaction is to want to help if I can. That, I mean, again, he's talking about the trial and about the things that people see of him and think of him. Life is a precious thing to me, be it an animal or human. I mean, legit, I don't know how else to say that. He's talking about Maddie. He's trying to tell me that Maddie's life was precious to him, which I don't think so at all. If it was precious to you, you wouldn't have hurt her the way you did. When I see something or someone in pain, my natural reaction is to want to help if I can. Now that, I don't know if he's saying that he saw Maddie in pain and is claiming he wanted to help, or if he's just talking about in general. But I do know that he didn't help Maddie. He hurt her. Hey, Jenna's Gypsy. Right, Bogart? Bogart said, bullshit, Steppin' Stearns. Abraham, good to see you, except Maddie's life, apparently. Exactly. Michelle said he thinks he was in love with Maddie and they were in a relationship. I really think that's the case. I really do. He wasn't thinking he was doing anything wrong. I agree. I think that's what he thinks. How and why is what I want to understand. How did you see a 9-year-old as someone you were in love with? Please explain that to me, because I need to know. Yeah, the judge opened up his courtroom for them to set up TVs and whatever they need to play them. Yes, they did, Sandra. He's got some nerve, said Crime Wars. What if that comment you highlighted was him helping Maddie by ending her? Maybe he realized he went too far and the only way to fix it was by quote unquote helping to end her. It's a possibility. It's a possible speculation. Very possible, Cara. Alex, good to see you. All right, I scrolled down. Jersey Joe. Feel so bad for that poor jury after they see what they are about to see beyond horrible. I know. I hope that they get some kind of counseling services offered to them. Hold on just a minute. Graham crackers stuck in it for some reason. I don't know what that's about. You hear the rooster? I'm actually making a video because I inherited the goats and I wanted to talk to y'all about that. I am getting a rooster. I think that's Sapphire. Gojo's crow is a little different. My daughter named the boy Gojo, and so I'm going to keep him. I think that's Sapphire that's curling right now. They're hanging out with the geese. All right. So continuing. Yes, from a very early age, I've had a love of literature. I don't remember exactly when I began reading on my own, but I recall my mother teaching me from an early age. I believe that. I believe that Stephen Stearns was Deb's prodigy child. I believe that Deb doted on him in every way, shape, and form, and she read to him and she wanted him to be really intelligent and do great things. But in the process of doing that, she babied the shit out of him and never made him have to be accountable for anything. And now here we are. Hey, Hio. I hope that Nanny's okay, and I'm sending you love. I love you, and I love Nanny, and let her know that we're thinking about her. Indie Girl said, yeah, I think he thought they had a real relationship, and I think she might have had too much sleep medication, and maybe the hybrid got broken, hyoid bone got broken trying to wake her. Just a thought. That's very possible. A lot of addicts, when they come out of rehab, if they decide to use again, they'll use the same amount that they were using before they went in, and they'll accidentally overdose and die. So I was thinking that if he is medicating her at night, which he does seem to reference, baby, you can put it in the cabinet. Thank you, though. That he came back from being away for several months and gave her the same amount of whatever that he had been giving her for all of those years, and it was too much, and he accidentally overdosed her. So, I mean, I think it's a possible speculation. Oh, you're welcome. Rosemary's Baby. Oh, Lord, let's not get that involved. He did this to her and essayed her, so I don't care for his excuses whatsoever he comes up with. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where it all goes. That's where we need to be. Anders said there was emotional incest between those two. Yeah, Deb and Stefan, absolutely. Lulu, thank you for saying thank you. Good to see you. He choked her out. Yeah, I don't know how the hyoid got broken. That's what we can't figure out. Was he choking her during some kind of SA assault? Or did he overdose her and maybe shook the shit out of her? And I don't know. I would have to look up if that's even possible. Actually, while we're talking about the subject, let's see. Hold on, I can't do two things at once. Okay, is it possible to break a hyoid bone shaking someone to try to wake them up? And it says no, it's not possible to break or dislocate the hyoid bone by shaking someone to try to wake them up. Hyoid bone fractures are very rare and are commonly associated with strangulation. Dislocation or popping out of place of the hyoid bone can occur due to trauma, injury, or underlying medical conditions like hyoid bone syndrome, which she didn't have. So it's got to be dislocation, trauma, injury, or dislocation for the hyoid bone to be broken. So it's got to be from strangulation. Hey, Scratch. Good to see you. Hannah, thank you for that. I'm so sorry for anybody that has emailed me. I've had so much going on trying to move animals around and do things in the house. I'm canning a bunch of things. So I sincerely apologize. I have not checked my email, and I will do that. It's been like a week and a half because I was camping last week. It's raining now. All my clothes on the line gonna get wet. Julie said it has to be pressure as far as I'm aware. I think so, yeah. The coroner's report did say the hyoid bone was broken and she died of strangulation. That's right, baby boomer. You're right. I'm sorry. Yep. She died. Her cause of death was strangulation. You're right. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That's my fault. Yep. You're absolutely right. It did say strangulation. I apologize. I believe she threatened to tell someone about being molested and he freaked out. I think that's a possibility too because she had that little boy she had a crush on at school. All right. He continues. By the time I was in the third grade, I was at a 12th grade reading level. I believe that because of his mom wanting him to be so special and treating him like he was so special. I think she wanted him to be very intellectual too, and I think she pushed him to do those things. And at that time, like third grade, he's still very young, so he's gonna, very much so do whatever mommy tells him to do. And I think mommy put books and knowledge in front of him to try to teach him and make him learn. I do believe that 100%. He says, books have always been a great mental escape. I am partial to fiction, specifically fantasy and science fiction. That's my jam. Now, I would say fantasy kind of concerns me a little bit, but a lot of people in that age group, especially male, are into science fiction because, like E.T. came out when he was a child. There was a lot of innovation going on as far as technology and things like that. So when he was in his adolescence, his most impressionable years, that again, I mean, is when all that stuff was coming out. So that's what was popular. And a lot of people are Mr. Speculating's really into that. Star Trek, Stargate, all of that stuff, Star Wars, all of those things. So it makes sense that he would be into science fiction, and fantasy is going to be like Dungeons and Dragons, the dragon stuff, all of that. Which that was like my time period because I'm really into like fairies and plants and things like that. Like that was popular during my childhood. That's when the fairies and all that stuff started to come out and stay for a while. And he's like right in between. So all of those things are good. Hold on, it's like pouring and them goats are in the garden. Okay, they're staying there. They're all right. They need a bath. All right. So he continues, The Hobbit is a big favorite of mine in the fantasy genre. I first read it when I was maybe 9 years old. Picked it up in an airport bookstore and started reading it on the flight and didn't put it down again until I was finished. The Hobbit, I mean, again, it's possible. I don't see somebody being able to read and interpret The Hobbit at 9 years old. But if I take into account the fact of how Deb is with him and the fact that she probably did push a lot of knowledge and being very intellectual in his face a lot, and that he was probably her prodigy child, I think it could be possible. I don't know if he would have had a good understanding of it at that age, though. Hey, Mystic. Good to see you. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. I should have. Okay. He says, my current favorites in sci-fi are Red Rising series by Pierce Brown and basically anything Ernest Cline, the author of Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, Armada. Ready Player One, Ready Player Two. I've only seen the movies. I don't read. So, I mean, and he's just talking about books. That's okay. So another thing you got to understand about Gel is there is no highlight other than when you get your commissary, if somebody's coming to visit, if you get mail, email, or a letter in the mail, and what books you have. He's got his parents sending him all kinds of books, so he's able to read. So that would make him very popular in the day room or in the pod or in the dorm because he would have all these really great books that people would want to read, but he's not in there because of his charges. So, I mean, the only thing to look forward to when you're in jail is, again, when you get commissary food of any sort, especially good food like the hot plates, mail, And that's another reason why I thought he might answer my email, because it's so boring in there. And when he picks up that tablet and sees that he has an email, it's going to give him a shot of dopamine, right? Like, just like when we when we open up our mail and we have an email from somebody we know, or like for me, from a subscriber on my channel, when I see that somebody cared enough to reach out to me and speak to me, it's going to give me a shot of dopamine. So he's getting a shot of dopamine every time he sees that he has an email, every time they bring mail to a cell, every time he gets his food and commissary. That might not be a shot of dopamine, but um, and so it makes the emails that y'all write him where you're talking shit to him even more funny, because he's got a shot of dopamine thinking, oh, somebody wants to talk to me, and then they cuss him out for being um a piece of shit. Hot plates it's this, hold on. So we had them where I was at, but I never got them because they were stupid expensive. So like where I was at, the one where I took drug classes, the jail I was at, every Thursday, if your family wanted to, they could order you a hot plate, which is like um it'd be like maybe chicken wings with french fries, or calzone with french fries and a soda. And you would get it in like those like white styrofoam trays, like to go plates. You would get brought that. So your family could order you one, and then on Thursday during the day, you would get your hot plate and they would deliver it to you when it was time for it to come. So it's like actual, like fast food, french fries, pizza, chicken wings, stuff like that, like kind of like fast food items. But it was only if somebody ordered it for you, because them things were like $30 a piece. And that was like freaking when I was in jail, and like way back, like 2010, 11, 12, something like that. Yep, $30 fresh favorites. Yep, that's it. Hey, Miss Tree, good to see you. He don't get no dopamine shot from them showers because he ain't taking no damn showers. Hell, he didn't do it on the outside. That's why Maddie called him stinky. So what did we expect? I rarely got money for the cafeteria, and this chomo wants his commissary. I'm sorry that happened to you, Vero. But yeah, that's all he talks about. Okay, back to this. Klein writes in a way that speaks to Gen X and elder millennial audiences on a deep level, so I dig it. And that goes back to what I was just talking about, like the science fiction and fantasy. Again, it's going to be Gen X and elder millennial audiences. So, I mean, it makes sense. Now he says, when did I get into Pokemon? From the very start. I remember it came to the US back in, I think it was 97 or 98. I forget exactly what year, but I had seen it in an article in a newspaper talking about it and thought, oh man, I got to check that out. And maybe the next week I was out with my dad running errands, begged him to stop by a game store, and was soon on the way home with a box containing Pokemon Red, and could hardly wait to open it and pop that thing into my original Game Boy and start catching them all. I don't remember what came out first, but I thought until he says Game Boy, he was talking about the actual cards. And who's reading newspapers at that age to even, like, he says he saw it in a newspaper and got the Game Boy game. The Game Boy game came out way after the card decks. He says, I was maybe around 11 years old at that time and was a Pokemon fan from that point on. When the TRA Trazing card game came out later, it was amazing. I even played the card game in the official Pokemon League tournaments that were held on the weekends at Toys R Us. I believe that. I believe that he was a Pokemon nerd and that he went to Toys R Us. His mommy and daddy took him there to play. Hey, Sunflower May. Bye, Indy. That's a good question, Mystic. I don't think I told him about them. I don't know what came first. I've talked about hot plates, but like it's something that's offered at every prison. I think that he was eating hot plates before I talked to him about them. I think that they're mentioned because I knew what they were, But I think that he knew what they were too because they offer them at jail. So I think if I had to guess and if I check the dates, I'm pretty sure he was already getting hot plates before I started talking to him. Because keep in mind, he had been there for what, a year and 2 months at the time I started talking to him. So he definitely would have known what it was. Game Boy came out first. Okay, so I would have thought the card game came out. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Baby Boomer said, I got into true crime 2 years ago and know everything about this case from the beginning. You do. You're very intelligent and intellectual, and I appreciate that. If I'm ever wrong, please feel free to let me know. Unfortunately. Well, I mean, we get into cases and we do remember the details of it. I know a lot about it too, unfortunately. And then I put myself more into it, unfortunately, by making the stupid decision to reach out trying to get information. But anyway, he says, and yes, you won league badge pins for playing in those and earning points towards the badges. So mommy and daddy pay for him to go play at Toys R Us on the weekends, and he gets to win little league badges and pins for playing. Speaking of Charizard cards, I found 2 of my original Charizard cards in store. Okay. Speaking of Charizard cards, I found 2 of my original Charizard cards in storage not too long ago in an old box that still had one of my decks in it. I found 2 Charizards and Blastoid cards along with a bunch of other cards from the first set. Sadly, no first edition cards. First edition cards are worth money, but I wondered when he said that if he found those decks when he was looking for that USB drive that they found. Remember when he went to the storage unit after Maddie's body was placed where it was and he was going through shit and he was trying to look for shit? I wonder if that's when he saw the Charizard cards when he was looking for whatever it was he was looking for, which I think was the USB drive, and that's what he's referencing because again, at this point it's a year and 2 months that he's been in jail. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think. I think that he saw him while he was looking for whatever he was looking for in Daddy's storage unit. Atari and a Brunswick. So I played pool growing up. That's awesome. I played pool too. Yeah, he's eating good. Pokemon Game Boy before Pokemon cards. Thank you, One Sunny Day. Where have you been? Oh yeah, well, it's just been in the past 2 days that I yesterday was when I came out and let everybody know that I am Jessica. Hi, nice to meet you. What is the equivalent to Game Boy nowadays? Nintendo Switch. My kids have 2 actually. Cell phone, yeah. Atari came out in the late 70s. I was 14. That's awesome. That's awesome. Nintendo came out like when I was really young. I think Game Boy came out when I was little too. All right, he says, I remember when Tamagotchi came to America as well. Mine always died too, lol, but I still enjoy them to this day. It's a simple and silly thing for a grown man to enjoy, but I think it hits me right in the nostalgia. And maybe because I'm much better at playing them now, it's kind of a way to stick it to my past younger self and say, see, dummy, it's not so hard after all. Has anybody ever thought that Tamagotchis were hard? Like mine always died, admittedly. Okay. So I was doing something wrong, but I didn't think it was hard. And like just the way that sentence is phrased is just ugh to me. It hits me right in the nostalgia. Like that's like it hits me right in the balls. Like that's what I think. It hits me right in the balls and that shit hurt. No. He says it hits me right in the nostalgia. Like I don't know. Why not say it gives me nostalgia? I I don't know. And then maybe a way to stick it to my past younger self and say, "See, dummy, it's not so hard after all." Like what? I don't know. It's just weird to me. Gave me an ick. Not really. It's pretty easy, right? I mean, you feed it, you give it water, and what? You're done playing with it. Like you pick it up for literally 2 seconds, feed it, give it water, and that's it. Your thumb was getting injured, Mystery. That's funny. We played with our dinosaur eggs in my youth, said Abellis. The original Nintendo came out in 1983, the year I was born. That's amazing, Julie. I was born in 87. Tom said if he talks about Pokemon cards or toys in prison, everyone who doesn't already know he's a chomo will know. That's a good point. Mystic Firefly said, when I was a child, I played with sticks and splashed in puddles. My 3 sisters stole all my other toys. That's how it goes when you got a lot of kids. That happens here sometimes. I made potions with dirt and mud and things. It does, doesn't it? Is he going to read this? I can't imagine how gross he really is. Yikes. I mean, he wrote it, so I'm assuming he read it. Resident, good to see you. I played Pac-Man and Atari and was good at it too. That's awesome. See, we're talking about nostalgia, but we're not talking about how it hit us right in the nostalgia, right? He says the newer Tamagotchi devices are wild though. Color screens, rechargeable batteries with USB chargers, Wi-Fi, downloadable content, interacting and playing games against other Tamagotchis around the world. That's the Tamagotchi Uni. So, I mean, Tamagotchi is trying to bring Tamagotchi back, right? For kids now. I mean, it's just like bringing old stuff back into the new again. They're trying to bring it out again and, put rechargeable batteries, pop, USB-C charger ports. That's what the word I was looking for. Capability to connect to Wi-Fi, downloadable content. Yeah, I mean, but that's just innovation over time. They want to keep selling they want to bring them back. They want to make them popular again, so they're going to do that. It doesn't mean a grown-ass man should be playing with them. Tamagotchi Uni, that came out maybe a year and a half ago. I always come back to the classic Tamas, though. See, call it Tamas. I always come back to the classic Tamas. Oh my God, I'll be able to talk in a minute. Let me get a sip of my drink. That annoys me too, shortening the name, Tamas. I hate when people do that. They do it to make themselves seem more intellectual on the subject, like they know more about it. Oh yeah, like I don't know how to reference it and relate it. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like it'd be like if you were really into Pokemon and saying, "Oh yeah, I know all about the cards or the poke cards or something." I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me when you shorten it, making it try to seem like you're just a know-it-all on the subject. He says in 2018 they began releasing newer versions of the original Gen 1 and Gen 2 Tamagotchi with the original programming and are still making them now, and they have an entire storefront on Amazon. Everybody has an entire storefront on Amazon. Like that's not special to me, but again, they're trying to re-innovate it to bring it out to the youth of this time period. It's storming really bad, so if I lose y'all, I will be right back, but I just wanted to let y'all know that. Where you get the classic versions for around $20 and a mind-blowing variety of shell designs. Oh my God. You know why there's a mind-blowing variety of shell designs? Because they're made for children. They're supposed to be bright and noticeable and catch your eye and make a child want to have it and play with it. Supposed to be bright colors and different shell designs, not for a grown-ass man. I have quite the collection at this point, with new devices and several vintage and rare ones as well, and even some that were only sold in Japan back in the 90s. And we saw all about that on Reddit. Like, again, why? Like, even as an adult, maybe if you were really into it, which he said he wasn't, right here, Tamagotchi came to America, mine always died too. So you weren't really into it, but for someone who was really into it, to have some that were only sold in Japan back in the 90s that you put on a shelf and let everybody look at, I could understand that. But like all this other shit, knowing about the new ones, buying the new ones, painting the shelves, all of that, it seems like you're trying to get too in good with the youth, with children. Stay away from the children. Really? I think that's close to me, Miss Tree. Is that in North Carolina? Hilton Head Island. I've heard of it, and I think somebody in my family went there. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Michelle said he's got nothing. Jen or his parents have them. That's true. That's true. Should have asked him what he knows about holding a job. Well, I do reference later in the emails about the realtor license. He says, I also collect and enjoy Digimon V Pets as well. So I think that's like I remember Digimon, but I think that was like an off brand thing, trying to basically be like um Tamagotchis. You know what I mean? Hold on a minute. Oh, okay. All right, sorry. I got a notice about a doctor's appointment that I didn't know about. South Carolina. Okay. Not too far. All right. I think between Tamagotchi and Digimon, I have somewhere between 40 to 50 bee pets in my collection. Why do you got that many? Like, even a collector, I don't think would have that many of one thing. And I don't even want to think about how much money I've spent to acquire some of them in new condition. Again, I mean, the fact that you don't even want to think about how much money you spent to acquire some of them in new condition blows my mind, because whose money was it? The only reason that you had that money to spend on it is because you didn't have a damn job like the rest of the world out here trying to make a living. So you didn't have to. You could spend all your time playing V-Pets and hurting children. A child that we know of, allegedly. He continues, I know exactly what you mean by the goth emu thing. Emu was basically my go-to girl. I know I'm saying that wrong. My kids have corrected me on how I say it, so I apologize if I am. Emu was base Emu was basically my go-to type of girl when I was in high school. Heavy eyeliner, band t-shirts, studded belts, and Converse shoes. Check. Absolutely not. I had heavy eyeliner, band t-shirts, studded belts, and BC shoes, and I would say absolutely not. But even that, heavy eyeliner, band tees, studded belts, and Converse shoes. Check. Definitely want to talk to you, girl. But then we see the pictures of him with that girl, Kendall, that was so young. Oh my goodness, Mitch Tree, that's funny. Why brag on being a man-child, idiot? Because, he's been able to, and he thinks it's normal, I think. I don't think he realizes he don't have shit. I think his parents should sell them Tamagotchis and get some of that money back if I was them and if they are listening, allegedly. Yep, he's also bought lightsabers for thousands of dollars. But again, if we're going to talk about that, like lightsabers, I could understand a little more because, like, people collect those and that's a big thing. It's like the time period of being in sci-fi, and a lightsaber is like Star Wars. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I know people that would possibly collect those type of things and not necessarily Tamagotchi, so maybe I'm wrong in that. I just find it really weird. Michelle said that was my attire in high school and I'm 58, laughing my ass off. Right? His parents should have set him up with a toy game comic store. Maybe he would have been successful at it. Yeah. Like, maybe we should try that because he probably would have been good at it. Maybe, but then he's got access to kids, so I don't know. It never ceases to amaze me what a loser this man is. And his mother said his friends would even envy him. Ma'am, who on earth? Envy the fact that his parents are taking care of him, then that he don't have to do shit but sleep and all the things that, that's the only reason that people envied him. I don't see them envying him for anything else. And I do think they reference them using him because he had access to money or a place to stay. And at the end of the day, I think that's all it was. I think they absolutely did use him for a place to stay and to have money because he spent money on stupid shit. It's probably very easy to talk him into buying the beer for the night or something like that. I don't think anybody ever really liked him. I think they used him. But I'm sure he made it relatively easy. Continuing, he says, but I was down with goth chicks too, and had a lot of goth friends as well. Sometime in the early to mid 2000s, goth and emo were becoming a mixed thing. Before that, goth was usually wearing black all the time, lots of chains hanging from your clothing, heavy dark makeup, and facial piercings, and looking scary were common. So I wore a lot of black. I had the chains hanging from my pants. I wore band tees and eyeliner. I didn't have any facial piercings at that time because my mom would have killed me. Um, so that's the type of person I was. And he says, and yes, Korn and Slipknot were the standard issue for practically any goth worth their salt back in the day. Now, I can pull up pictures of him and that girl, Kendall, but I don't think she looked very goth. Like, I think this is a line of bullshit. If you grew up in the 2000s, you would have known what goth people were into. You would have known about Korn and Slipknot and what quote unquote goth was. So, I mean, I think that's a line of bullshit, honestly. He says, yes, it sounds like you're pretty close in age to me, judging by the thing you are referencing. I was born in 86, so I remember a lot of cool stuff from when it happened. I even remember seeing a segment on the news when the Power Rangers first hit America and thinking, I gotta have it. There was always a new hit fad back then. So he talks about new hit fads. Yes, I'm close in age to him. And I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood. But like referencing new fads here in this section, he references Power Rangers. Again, we're going back to adolescence where we were talking about way up here. Now we're talking about high school and gothic and emo, and then you're going to take it back to the child mind frame by referencing Power Rangers. Like, that's weird. That doesn't even fit in this sentence. So before that, I was born. Well, hold on. Yes, it sounds like you must be pretty close. Hold on. No, I got to go back. We were talking about Korn and Slipknot were standard issue for practically any goth worth their salt back in the day. Like, we were talking about gothic people. Then he says, yes, it sounds like you must be pretty close in age to me by judging by the things you referenced. I was born in 86, so I remember a lot of cool stuff from when it happened. So we were born in 86 and remembering cool stuff like MTV, Korn coming out. I don't know. Uh, Movies, like if we're going to reference goth, like, maybe a horror movie or something. But he jumps to Power Rangers. Like, that's weird to me. I think it's a Chomo aspect. I don't know. Peaches, good to see you. 79 here. Awesome. I was supposed to graduate in 81, but I stopped going to school after busting out English teacher and my bay, but got full scholarship. That's awesome. I'm glad you got a full scholarship. We called it Depp Rock in the 80s. Sisters of Mercury, etc. Wore gauze flower child clothes and a leather bandana. That is awesome. All right. Continuing. He says, I greatly enjoy painting miniatures and playing tabletop games, but that's a whole other wall of text worth of the stuff. So he's going to talk about Warhammer. He says, don't worry about your spelling. It was fine. And besides, we have autocorrect these days. I have ADD, so I fully understand the look squirrel aspect of our brains, and it's okay. So again, I told you that I put that, like, I do have ADD, as you can tell if you've been here, if you've been part of our speculating family for any amount of time. I'm sure you can tell I have ADHD. But I put that in there, referencing trying to make myself relatable. Because I can't relate with Warhammer and all of the other shit he's in, too. And he says, I fully understand the look squirrel aspect of our brains. It's okay. I think I answered the questions that I could. I had to refer back to your message many times to stay on track. Because, ADD. But I guess that about wraps it up. And he says, I suppose I have a question or two for you. You said you wanted to know who I am. Why is that? Or I guess what's the motivation behind it? Are you a YouTuber or other online personality doing this for a channel or something? Right there, first letter he sent me, he asked me, was I a YouTuber or just a curious person? I worry that in replying to you, I may be opening a floodgate of sorts and get swamped by other people. I might get scolded by my attorneys as well, but I think maybe this is light enough conversation that it shouldn't be damaging, I hope. And to be fair, I mean, I didn't take it there. I didn't think he would answer it anyway, but the only thing he might get scolded by his attorneys for was the first email I put out where he talked shit about the judge. I was more concerned about that in that email than anything said about Deb or Chris. And I don't even think I've ever mentioned Chris at all. Try behind the scenes ad. Jessica's a mess. Jessica a mess. What is that? Jess is a mess. I like that. I'm sorry. I read it wrong. I like that. I am a mess. Hey, Deb, you raised the real winner. I'm sure she's watching, so I'm sure she'll see that. Well, that's it. I will lose the tablet soon, so I guess I will send this off and probably spend the next day or so mentally berating myself for replying in the first place. I think he's been mentally berating himself since he cut off communication and I dropped everything. But it seems, in capital words, innocent and reasonable enough, and perhaps I'll hear back from you again. And if so, tell me a bit more about yourself as well. Sharing is a two-way street, and any dialogue requires a certain amount of give and take, or so I believe, at least anyway. I don't know why he felt he had to educate me on that, because if we go back to the email I just read, I gave him a lot of information about myself so that he would talk to me and that he would have a reason to write back. So, I mean, yeah, sharing is a two-way street. It's obvious that I know that because I told you a bunch of information about myself in the beginning. But okay, dude, say that so you can feel like you're the smartest person in this email chain and that you are superior in all knowledge and egotistically. I know that in every way. Okay, dude, whatever you need. Anyway, I'm going to play solitaire again for maybe the gazillionth time and wish I could have a Tamagotchi in here. Take care. So a Tamagotchi in there, I mean, could you imagine? Because the only thing to do in there is play solitaire, or, we would go to the day room and play spades. So, I mean, him being alone and playing solitaire, yeah, that's probably very true. He probably has played it a gazillion times because there's nothing else for him to do. I've got to go turn the stove off real quick and step to the restroom, but I was going to play for y'all that video that shows the pictures of his girlfriend real quick while I do that. It's going to have audio behind it. It's going to be an interrogation. So when I got this information, there was a lot of interrogation stuff that I did not know where it was supposed to go. So I'll go back to where it starts with his pictures and let y'all hear it. I'll be right back. Oh, hold on. Okay, I am sharing it. Okay.
It's more so the beginning of the year. Well, other than that,
I'll be right back. Hold on just a minute.
Has she had any signs of depression or suicidal ideations, inclinations?
nothing with suicide. I know that like fatigue and stuff like that can be a sign of depression, but without anything being confided in me, I never assumed or anything like that. Just
Okay.
she never got any sleep.
Okay. What's her grades like?
They were a little bit rough, and then she brought them up.
Okay.
She'll go through phases of not turning anything in, turning everything in, not turning it in, turning it all in. I would still say probably in the BC range, but I'm not 100% sure right now. I have to pull it up.
No big shifts in behavior, nothing like that? Okay.
Nope. Even on Friday, she said, okay, I'll see you Monday.
Do you know which Friday that was?
The Friday before her birthday party, and she disappeared.
Okay. When was that? Was that the 16th? 23rd?
The 23rd, I believe, is when, yeah, because we had Jerry Craft the day before, basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we were leaving 7th period, I always say, like, oh, I'll see you guys Monday. And I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of see you Monday too, but can't be 100% sure.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you think I need to know? How talk to friends? Anything she
Yeah,
Like
unfortunately,
said anything?
unfortunately, I don't think I have any more information that you guys have,
Okay.
because a student did come up to me and tell me that she was talking with friends about wanting to live in the woods,
Okay.
like after she turned 13, but I think you guys already have all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, she just seemed like a very like normal, like on the quiet and tired side, but like a very normal kid, you know?
Okay.
Wouldn't have thought anything would be up with her. She had a birthday party coming up, so we assumed that she would actually be in really good, you know,
Yeah.
spirits and stuff like that too.
Okay, I'm back. There's his little miniatures.
Okay. Anything else?
I wish I had more.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate you taking time to talk to me,
Yeah,
Nick.
of course, anytime.
Can you swear to affirm everything you told me?
Okay, so this is that. This is the notebook from his girlfriend Kendall, where it's got the footsie and it says together. I want to talk to y'all about some specific things. This is the high school girlfriend. Hold on. I'm going to mute it at this point. Right there. So this is Kendall writing notes to him. That's like my butt from Kendall. Nights at the Spectrum. So that's some kind of Ferris wheel thing. I mean, you could only imagine what was going on there. There's that notebook again and box with the stuff in it from the girlfriend. Hold on. That's something Jen ordered. Xmas poem, December of 2003. So evidently he wrote her a Christmas poem December of 2003. And then Wednesdays she drew with stars, like the Mario stars. I'm guessing that's the day they got to be together. Okay, sorry. She says, so here she's talking about tummy signals, and it says, hold on, let me get real close to the screen here. Circles equals times 10, so that's some kind of code. Up and down, I want you. So, I mean, teenage shit, right? Like, they were obviously sexually active, and I'll show you how I know that in a minute. Cuddling, like even back then, okay, he's saying the word cuddling with his girlfriend at the time. And he's saying he has to do that with Maddie. I mean, that could be used against him in court, right? Maddie has to be cuddled at night to sleep. But here we've got this email or this letter from your girlfriend that you were in a very long, serious relationship with, where she wrote cuddling with a heart. That proves that you're cuddling with somebody you consider a girlfriend, not a child. 11:58. Happy New Year. So I'm going to imagine that they either kissed or were having relations at that time on some New Year. Those are letters I'm going to assume that they wrote maybe when he moved to Florida from California, because I think this was the California girlfriend. Yeah, see there, that's from him. Now, if we're going to talk about goths, he looks like the kind of person that would try to be like Eminem with the blonde hair, but he is wearing black. But she's definitely a lot younger and does not look goth at all. A compilation of memories from the past 6 months. Enjoy. Pictures, memories, quotes, song lyrics, CDs, and more. Love, Kendall. And there's pictures of them. That might be that guy, that roommate there. Because that looks like two guys. And then that's her and him skateboarding or something. And there's him. There's that one picture we just saw again where they're kissing. Please deliver me as soon as possible so I can cheer up Kendall's sexy Valentine. So this is some kind of Valentine thing. There she looks gothic if that's the same girl. And he's wearing some kind of something. It's weird. And I think that's it. There's one that says like it has a car on it and it shows the car shaking and it says outside of a pizza shop. And I was like, that's how I knew they were sexually active. It's like a note, like you saw with the word cuddling on it, but it's got a drawing of a car and it says shake, shake, shake. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we know you were sexually active there. Let me see if it must be after this. Hold on. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, I don't see it. I'll put it in the video though. All right, we're going to go back to messages now. That was what I wanted to show you with that, and I had to step away, so it gave me a moment to do that. Let me put that up. Hey, Bazzer, good to see you. Deception. You think he was trying to fit in? Smoking permit for school. Interesting that we even had to have smoking permits. That's crazy. I remember when people used to be able to smoke outside. Our high school was built out back in the day, so the got me. The storm got me. I'm redoing my computer. Hold on just a minute. So what I was saying was in my high school, it was like built back in the day, right? And so there was what we called the area where we would hang out that was outside the commons area. It was like an area where people would smoke back in the day, and we knew it, but by the time I was in high school, we weren't allowed to smoke in that area. So we always found it interesting that at one point in time, our parents probably stood in that area and smoked. My computer is back on. I'm waiting for it to load. Hold on just a minute. Okay, we're going to restore that. StreamYard's pulling up. When I go in, I'll have to. All right, there I am. Okay, back on. Sorry about that. The storm got me. Let me grab my headphones so y'all can actually hear me. You thought it was because of the storm? Yeah, I keep my phone right beside me so that if that happens, I can get on my phone and I'm not leaving y'all hanging. All right, let's go back to the emails. Okay, hold on. It's going to make me reload it. All right, so this is going to be me replying to him out of American Graffiti. I've heard of that, but I haven't seen that. You might have lost sound. Do you have sound now? Sometimes when I go on my phone, there's no sound. I'll type it in chat and we'll read this email. If you don't, you'll have to go back in and you'll have to go out and come back in. Okay. So this was sent to him Saturday, April 5th at 11:14 p.m. So that would have been the same night. I would have checked the email to see if he wrote back. And so at this point, I'm intrigued because he's actually writing to me. And I was curious that he wrote back because I was like, wow, he really wrote back. Like, that's weird. That's interesting. So I said, this is me, Jessica, talking. Hi, I wanted to answer your questions first before telling you more about myself. You asked, 1, why do I want to know who you are? The answer to that would be for a lot of reasons. So I didn't really care about who he was. I wanted to basically build up a rapport with him so I could get the answer to the questions about why he did what he did, who knew about it, who was involved, what was it like living in the apartment while he was abusing Maddie, did Jen know, all of that. That's why I wanted to know who he was. I said the main reason is there is always someone behind the headlines. That's me feeding his ego. Nobody ever set out in life and said, I wanted to be labeled as X when I grew up. I related that to myself because I didn't ever set out in life and say, I want to be labeled a person who used to be addicted to substances when I grew up. Like, that's true. Nobody ever sets out in life and does that. But that was more relating about myself, not him. But there's always someone behind the headlines was me kind of feeding his ego. Like, I'm not like these other people. I want to know who you are, who the real you is. I want to know, I'm not like these other people who think you're this monster. That's what I was trying to present to him when I said that. Get off right now. Okay. It is thundering so loud. I said, I know how that feels firsthand as I went down a bad road myself. Sometimes we find ourselves in places and are like, wait, how did I get here? Or how the fuck did this happen? I mean, again, that's just talking about myself and my past with substance abuse. And, I didn't want to go down those roads. And I have asked myself in life, like, how did I even get here? How the fuck did this happen? I've got to make a change. And I did. I said, there is always a person behind the mistakes. I made sure to use the word mistakes, again, making him feel like I'm different. I'm not like these other people. I understand you. And I know that, raping a child that was 13 years old and taking her life was just a mistake. You didn't mean to do it. That's how I wanted to come off. That's not really what I think. There's always a person behind all of the mistakes that is usually kind of relatable. And I want to understand. I do want to understand. I still want to understand why it happened and how. I put 1 or 2, laugh out loud. What's the motivation behind it? My motivation was and is that I want to understand you as a person. I want to know about your life to help me understand from your perspective. I did want to understand what he thought from his perspective. Like, why did you think it was okay to do those things? How could you do those things to an innocent child? What is your perspective on Maddie and her innocence? And why did you feel that you could just take that from her, steal it from her whole life? Number 3, am I a YouTuber or an online personality doing this for a channel or something, or just curious? I wrote, I am honestly just curious. But I didn't say, so that question was where I was talking about earlier. Am I a YouTuber or online personality doing this for a channel or something, or just curious? I said, I'm honestly just curious. I was honestly just curious, but I never said, no, I'm not a YouTuber or online personality. I'm just curious. I just said, I am honestly just curious. Maybe I shouldn't have put just curious. Maybe I should have put, I am curious. But again, that's me playing semantics. Technically, I should have put, yes, I'm a YouTuber. But he would have cut off communication with me right then and there. Knowing Stearns, he'll half tell the truth and, of course, lie too. Yeah, I think so. Hey, Mallory. Okay, continuing. I will inform you, in case you do not realize, I have to use my legal name and address in order to purchase credits for us to communicate. My information has to match my card. I probably shouldn't have put that in there, but he doesn't have access to that. He can see that my name is Jessica, but he doesn't have access to like my address or nothing like that. I did have to do that in order to purchase credits for us to communicate because, like I said, it takes 50 something. I think it's like 50 cents for me to send the email and then for him to write back. Of course, I'm going to have to pay for it. He's not going to spend his root beer barrel money to try to communicate with me. He's not going to spend his money that his parents gave him trying to communicate with me. So, of course, I had to purchase credits and make it to where it would be free for him to talk to me. And you're in jail, you're bored, there's nobody to talk to, nothing to do, you're all by yourself. Of course, he was going to talk to me. Of course, he was. As long as I wasn't an asshole. He'd probably still be talking to me now if his mama hadn't thrown a fit and threatened to cut him off. I said, so it would be stupid of me to publish these letters or tell anyone I'm talking to you because I would potentially be doxing myself. And we know from yesterday's stream, that's exactly what happened. I wasn't lying. I would have been potentially doxing myself. And again, I came out and tried not to dox myself, and we saw how well that went. So I did end up doxing myself. All that's true. Not to mention the harsh reactions I would probably receive. I expected there to be harsh reactions from the fact that I had communicated with him. But my intention again was to get information and to ask him why he did what he did, and to make him feel like he had a friend, and then crush him and tell him you are a piece of dog shit that ain't even worth the scum on the bottom of my shoe. But all of that's true. I said, so don't worry, I'm not telling anyone about this, and hopefully it will stay under the radar. Under the radar is because of FOIA requests, people FOIA requesting things. Although I don't think that, like, the emails and jail calls that we've gotten, I think are mainly to do with discovery information, and that's why we got them. Now, some jail phone calls have been purchased, but I don't think that they can purchase, like, I think it has to be a certain amount of months have gone by before you can purchase information. I don't think anybody can get anything this new. Oh, Crystal, I hope you have a good day. And they said they thought the man knew it was going on. The mom knew it was going on. I don't know. It's good to see you, Pandora. You believe Jen done it. My word for him is parasite. That's a good word. He thinks he and Maddie were in love and he did nothing wrong. I definitely think that's true. I do. Human sponge. Kieran Marr, good to see you. If he's been lying to his parents all his life, he lied to Jen, etc. Yeah, assume he's lying. I agree. Yep. You should have bought a pay-as-you-go card. I should have. I should have. And I thought about it later. I should have used a P.O. box too. But, I learned I'm not going to do it again because I hate the way I felt doing this. Okay, continuing. And I respect you and your lawyers enough not to discuss the case. I don't have no respect for him. His lawyers, I don't really want to get in trouble with his lawyers, but I knew he wasn't going to talk about the case. Besides, I don't have money for gas, hotels, and the time it takes to drive to Florida to go to court if I was to be called in. Now, again, I shouldn't have to go to Florida because we didn't talk about anything that was relatively groundbreaking in my eyes. So, and that's another reason why I wasn't going to ask him specifics about the case, because while I would love to go to Florida and for a vacation, I do not want to go to Florida for court and be on TV and all that. No, thank you. So I'm not doing anything, quote, stupid, unquote. I hope you do not berate yourself for replying. I didn't really care if he berated himself or not, but I did want him to keep talking. I was trying to keep him talking. I've not been in your exact situation, nor would I ever be in that exact situation. And I know you have to be careful. I hope I explained enough for you to understand that it would not be smart for me to release these emails or tell anyone about them. At that point in time, it would not have been smart for me to release the emails or tell anyone about them because, of how everything went. And I mean, it wasn't smart of me to communicate with him in the first place, thinking I would get some kind of story that he would have lied about anyway. Where am I at? I know what it's like to wait with bated breath to get an email or use the phone, mail, money, or commissary too, because you're bored out of your mind. And I just referenced that, right? Like the only thing that's exciting in there is knowing that you got an email or you get mail in the mail or your commissary or the food, because you get that hit of dopamine when you know somebody wants to talk to you. Jessica did it. That needs to be a new hashtag. Jessica did it. Or what Hio said, Jess is a mess. I've always thought that Jen and the Woody Allen comment, the lie she told and the obvious script, and that I believe she wrote, her reaction, non-reaction, and more. I agree. He was attracted to Maddie at 8 years old. As she grew up, there was bound to come a time when he wasn't attracted to her anymore. Some people have suggested that he might have ended her life because he wasn't attracted to her anymore. She aged out, I think is what it's called. You know, that's a good point. Like, I've stolen stuff from Walmart too, but I would never hurt a child. Jess is a mess. Jess is a mess. In my opinion, it was Jen Soto. After hearing what Grizzly said is in a report, I don't believe it was Jen Soto. There would be direct evidence. Did she know? Absolutely. I believe she did know everything, but I don't believe she unalived her. Well, so far, there, we don't have any proof of that, and she hasn't been charged. So, I would think if she did it, she would be charged by now. Because we got him for the CSAM, right? Like, he's done. But the homicide, like, that would put both of them to jail. Why keep him on the hook for the homicide if it was really Jen? Okay. I was around other women, so I did always have someone to play spades with. That's true. I could not imagine being alone all the time. Also true. I hope you have at least a TV or something. I was curious right there. Does he have a TV or what he could watch on the tablet? And I do think I talk to him about that in a later message. I wanted to know if he was able to access YouTube and if he would eventually know that these emails that I dropped them eventually. But he knows because his mom watches. Can you get like coloring books for adults or anything to actually do in there? I don't know why I reference coloring books. I mean, again, just trying to keep him talking and talk about anything or everything. I got coloring books sent to me and I was able to trade them to get like extra ramen noodles and things. But that's like a female type thing. The coloring books, not necessarily female, but like not something that I think a grown ass man would be into. But then again, I wouldn't think they'd be into Tamagotchis and all that shit either. So I'm not sure. Hey, Running Bear. Running Bear said, I think she'll be charged after the trial. I hope so, honestly. I don't know, though. While I know you love to read, I'm sure you do get bored with that in solitaire from time to time. It would be nice to have a Tamagotchi there. That would be the best maintained Tamagotchi in the histories of. Oh my gosh, that would be the best maintained Tamagotchi in the history of Tamagotchis. LOL. So yeah, I mean, if he had a Tamagotchi there, it would be well maintained because he's bored and he has nothing to do, which he deserves every bit of. I was the basic goth girl in high school, as we spoke about. My history teacher called me Child of Darkness, LOL, and he did. I wore only eyeliner, but it was heavy, studded or the seat belts, all black, Van tees, and chains. And I just told y'all that. All true. My shoes of choice were and still are DCs. I still wear DCs. I like the thick tongue of DC shoes, and I do. I've almost always kept a pink and black pair. I do usually like to have a pink and black pair, but mine right now I think are green and black. You said you saved baby animals. I have too, mainly birds. I've always wanted a baby squirrel, possum, or raccoon. I spend a lot of time outside in nature, but luckily or unluckily haven't come across any yet. So yeah, I have wanted, a baby mammal like raccoon, possum, squirrel, or something like that, but I've not found any that needed help. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I have had several birds. We talked about that. I had a bird named Starlet. That was a common starling. And it's funny because I named him Starlet before I knew he was a starling. I raised him from a baby. I always forced myself to let them go when they could manage on their own. He was the only one that came back. At dusk, I would leave the door open and he would fly right in and eat and perch up for the night. In the morning, he left. One night, he didn't come back. There was another group of starlings that had come through moving south for the winter. He started to stay out later and later, and when they left, he went with them. I always pick and say I have grand birdies down in Mexico somewhere. All of that is true. I did have Starlet. I'll show y'all a video of him tomorrow. I have to pull some from my videos, but he was amazing. I loved Starlet very much. But he did migrate with a group of starlings. I think he got a girlfriend and left with her. You think Jim walked in on it? I think Jim walked in on it, Mrs. Tree, and I think that's why they broke up originally. And I think that's why the police were so adamant about asking why they broke up. I think Jen caught them and broke up with him and told him to leave. But then for whatever reason, she brought him back and Stephen killed her. And that could introduce a new possible motive, just speculating. Like, now that he's caught, maybe he didn't unalive Maddie at that point because he didn't have time to take in the full gravity of the situation. Maybe he came back and unalived Maddie because he was scared she was going to tell, and then he figured he could manipulate Jen into not telling, or he already had. I don't know. That would make me think if we were going to go down that road that he would probably have to take Jen out as well. I don't know. Heavily medicated. But I think at some point she knew. And then you talk about, though, the Electra complex, the oogling over Stefan, the Woody Allen comment. These nuts. Good to see you. Oh, you're welcome, These nuts. I think it was Sabellas. After that, she sent them up to bed together. That's another good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. After they broke up, she sent them up to bed together. You're right. A name here thinks that she needed the money they made from pictures. So she goes to the psychiatric hospital as soon as her lawyer mentioned it. Makes sense. Now she has a good case when applying for Social Security benefits. You think so? Baby Boomer said Jennifer was groomed also. I believe the police. Do we have the police saying that Jen was groomed? I don't remember if the police actually said that. Southern said, in my opinion, Jim walked in on them. They broke up. Jim brought him back and walked in on them again. Think so? Maybe. There has never been any proof that Jim was in, thank you so much, a psychiatric hospital. That's just a rumor helped spread by dead. Hey, Parabola. Yeah, I've heard that, but I can't verify it. Jim was dense, not groomed. All right, I'm going to go back to the email. I was born in 87, and I do remember Power Rangers from my childhood. Like, again, he references Power Rangers right after talking about high school and gothic chicks. I never got into them really, and I didn't, but I would watch them from time to time. My cousin would watch them, and I would have to watch them because he was watching them. I didn't watch them because I wanted to. I remember Saturday morning cartoons. My favorite show was a show not many people have heard of, and it was called Gargoyles. And it had this lady that lived in New York. I think she was a detective. Anyways, the gargoyles would come to life at night and protect her. That's true. There was, I'll look it up. So I did watch Saturday morning cartoons, and there was this show that came on called Gargoyles, and this is Gargoyles. But again, I mean, that's when I was a child. There's the lady detective. That's her right there. Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff. See, I might collect something like that because I remember watching that show when I was a child. I didn't know it was a comic. That's interesting. So all that's true. It's basically what I'm showing you. I guess my goth and wanting to understand. I guess my quote goth and wanting to understand what makes humans do the things we do sometimes started there. Saturday morning cartoons, who would have thought? LOL. So yeah, if you saw that, I mean, I just showed it. Like it was kind of gothic, and she was a detective, like wanting to know. Obviously we know what a detective does, so maybe it did start there. I don't know. That's all a possibility. Um, we don't know if she was pregnant or not. If Grizzly has the coroner records, I would love to see that, or the autopsy report. That's the only place that's going to be mentioned. And I don't think the autopsy report has been released. And I think in Florida, for it to be released on a person that's under 18, somebody in the family would have to do it. But I don't think that we know if she was pregnant or not, or if there was a fetus. We might find out in trial. But other than that, I don't know if we'll ever know. In my opinion, she had an idea as to what he was up to, just needed antipsychotics to make her sleep better afterwards. I agree with that. I watched Dino shows before the asteroid. It was quiet after they left. They had good nature shows. You're so funny, Abellis. Can't the police use the location of Jen's phone and match it with the metadata of the pic showing she was at home when abuse happened? If nothing else, that proves neglect as a minimum. They can, and a lot of this happened during COVID when everybody was in the house. I think it's been proven that she was in the house when some of it happened, but I'm not positive on that, so don't run with it. I believe I heard last year that her dad had the autopsy report and Tyler did say she was not pregnant. I heard that too, but I heard it it didn't come from Tyler. It came from somebody on Reddit, and that person turned out to be somebody that was also a pedophile from my understanding. So I just say I can't validate that. I don't know. I'm very careful with that. It has not been said whether she was pregnant or not. Nobody has come out and said that. Okay. Okay. I do remember Digimon because my little cousin used to watch them, or rather hearing about it. I had no idea Tamagotchis had become so advanced. But why wouldn't they, right? Because I mean, and I'm telling you now, like, of course they're going to become popular again because they want that franchise back. They want to start making them popular and sell them to children again. I get so mad. Technology is amazing. Although we are supposed to have flying cars by now, I'm legit upset about that, LOL. So again, just trying to be relatable and talk about things that he might be into, like flying cars. I don't know. I relate that to like Star Trek, Star Wars, things like that. And lastly, the books. I never got into reading. My mother loves J.R. Tolkien. I have watched Lord of the Rings movies and I've seen The Hobbit too. I've always heard the books are better. I have seen Ready Player One, also heard the book was better. That's all true. Every time I try to read, I fall asleep. That's true. I'm much more into making things. I want to have something to show for the hours I put into things. I suppose I should have opted for the knowledge I would have gotten from the books, though. I was very stubborn growing up and thought I knew it all. I mean, all that's true. I think all of us were very stubborn growing up and thought we knew it all during our teenage years. I do like to make things. I crochet a lot because I like to have something to show for all the hours of work I put into something. I probably should have opted for the books because I would have gotten knowledge from them. Um, like I say here, now I can make lots of things, but a good vocabulary would be nice. Just trying to be relatable. I don't really know what to talk to him about. You know what I mean? So I'm just talking to be talking, not putting very much thought into it, just talking to be talking. So he'll continue to talk to me. I can build up a rapport and then we can move on to the real shit I wanted to know about. I think it's sweet. I was very careful with choosing words like that. That you remember your dad taking you to get a Pokemon box of cards for the first time. Now, he said the game, and I said cards here. So I got that wrong. I do think it's nice or sweet that his dad took him to get that. That's a nice memory that for a child to have with their father. If it was anybody else other than Stephen Stearns, like the fact that it's him makes me very upset. Really? I have a lot of the document. Unless she FOIA requested or unless she paid for something that I don't have, I should have what she has, but that's interesting. I hope there wasn't a plea deal. I don't think there was. I really don't. I'm correct? Okay. It proves her phone was in the house. I think it's been proven that her phone was in the house, unfortunately. All right, I'm going through your email and trying to respond to everything if you can't tell. So basically what I was doing is I printed out every email and I would go through it reading the pages that I printed out and I would respond to it. So I would read through, he would ask a question or talk about a subject, and then I would read it and I would respond as I was typing. I think I said lastly earlier, but I lied. I think this will be the last part, LOL. It sounds like you are a very caring and generous person. It sounds like he was trying to make himself sound like a very caring and generous person. But again, I'm trying to feed his ego. I'm trying to build up a rapport with him. I'm trying to get him to trust me. So, of course, I'm going to throw things in like that to feed his ego. Excuse me. I wouldn't give up on all of your friends just yet. That was a lie. Obviously, yeah, you need to give up on them because they think that you're a nasty SOB because of what you did to this child. Hey, LJ. You clicked it? Okay, thank you. Kieran, that's a good question. Maybe. Yeah, the blood was at her bottom, her back, her nails, and her chest. I think on the chest was not blood, it was saliva. But everywhere else, yes, there was blood. Yeah, she claims that she wasn't sexually active. Jen does. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know either. All right, continuing with the email. There's a lot going on, and maybe you will hear from them when everything is over. It sucks when we help people out and we need help back and they're nowhere to be found. Now that does suck when you help somebody out and they're nowhere to be found. But in relation to him, like obviously his friends, people that he thought were friends are not going to have a damn thing to do with him. And again, the only friend we heard about is the one guy that was living with him because he needed a place to stay and talked about how weird Stefan and Deb's relationship was. And then the one Warhammer guy that played Warhammer with him. Nobody else has spoken about anything. And like, I don't think he had very many friends. I think he was focused on talking to children and riding around in his car with that freaking Solo masturbation cream in his book bag, probably sitting at the fucking playground. I'm sorry, that shit irritates me. I apologize for cussing like that. There's only so many reasons to have masturbation cream in a book bag that you carry with you. I think we were raised differently. People in general just aren't what they used to be, especially when it comes to morals, compassion, and helping each other. I was talking about him there. People in general aren't what they used to be. Now that's talking about more so like, back in the day, you could go to your neighbor and ask to borrow a cup of sugar. It's like that here where I live at on this property. But like if I go off the property and talk to somebody and I'm like knocking on the door, like, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Probably going to look at me like I'm a psycho and be like, no, like I'm the girl from Friday asking to borrow somebody's microwave. Things have changed in that manner. And I do wish that we could go back to the way things used to be when everybody looked out for everybody. I think the world would be a better place. But so that's what I'm talking about there. But especially when it comes to morals, compassion, and helping each other. Helping each other, yes, but like morals and compassion, that's because I feel like he has no morals and compassion. I'm hoping that maybe he'll read that and reflect on himself Where are my morals? Where are my compassion? Where is my compassion? Where is my sense of helping somebody? Gone, because none of that was around when you were abusing that child. Cars are not what they used to be either, for that matter. Everything is plastic, but I suppose it comes with innovation. Everything in cars is plastic now, and that's why they break. I want an old car that I can work on that doesn't break, that has metal parts so it'll last me, instead of like, you get the car paid off and you might as well take it across the scales at the junkyard because it ain't worth nothing anymore. And then you got to buy another car and get into another payment, and because it's all made of plastic. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I hope I've answered your questions and given a proper response. What books are you reading now? What's your favorite item on Canteen? I already knew it was root beer barrels. Do you have a TV to watch? Are you allowed to watch things on the tablet? So again, I'm asking that because I'm wondering if he's able to access YouTube and if he'll ever know that I put these emails out. Now, at this point, it's April, so I was just curious and wondering. I know now that he knows because Deb is watching all the time. All the time she's watching, especially over here. Be careful in the comment section because she's watching. Here, I can knock on my door and get any help, a cup of tea, and hours of stories. That's awesome. That's probably because you're in Canada. Canadians are a lot nicer. Yeah, the root beer barrels. Of course, they're his favorite. Brother watched Stephen Stearns get coddled way too much. It does damage the psyche. I think that's what happened with the brother, too. I do. I think he feels like Stephen was a favorite and got the hell out of there as soon as possible. In fairness, even if he did have any friends, they probably wouldn't want to admit the friendship, let alone stand by him now knowing what he's done. That's very true, No. Good to see you. Yeah, Abby Pudell is allegedly her YouTube handle. And there's also one that's like Deborah Stearns and got some numbers behind it. That's the two I've heard of and that I could believe, and that makes sense because her poodle's name is Abby. It does take a village, Sandra. Just don't F with our loved ones. Yep. All right. If so, is it like movies or like YouTube channels or like the news? Hope to hear from you soon. So in the jail call, his parents reference him watching movies on the tablet and paying for the movies for him to watch the movies. So I was kind of trying to see what he would say there, and he never admits to being able to watch movies on the tablet or anything like that. But his mom asked him in an email that we had at the time if she needed to send money so he could watch movies on the tablet. I'm still curious as to how that works. He might have YouTube. He probably lied. I mean, we know he's a fucking liar. Probably lied. He could be watching this right now. I don't know. But I think he says they don't have access to movies. And again, we heard his mom ask him about money for movies in the email. So I think he does. Basil has entered the room. Okay, so he responds the next day, Sunday, April 6th at 7:32 p.m. He said, "A bullshit. No, you can't eat my sticky note. Here. Well, you didn't have to snatch it, Basil." Let her read the comments. She should be ashamed of what her son did. She has zero right to get mad at what anyone thinks. Exactly. And you're coming out here on the internet. Thank you, Car, for saying that. You're coming out here on the internet and talking to YouTubers for what? To control the narrative? Again, I'm going to hashtag it. Who's controlling who? I'd love to be informed as of that. Basil, did you see that the Americans are giving us Canadians issues about our forest fire wins? I did not, but on behalf of me, a person who lives in America, that's ridiculous. I don't think anybody wants there to be a forest fire or winds that cause it. Basil, Mommy Stearns released a monster onto the world. She should be ashamed. I agree. If his parents would admit their son is an evil monster, I don't think people would be as hard on them. Yeah, and like the things that they say, like it was Maddie's time to go and all of that, like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Parents will always love their child. It's unconditional, but it's admitting, right, Sandra, exactly. Like, and blaming everybody else and just saying, oh, I know Jen is responsible for this. I know 100% she's responsible. There's no doubt. It was Maddie's time to go. Maddie was getting a little gored that. Like, stop. Yeah, we know exactly who you are. I like Canada because of the Truth Factory and Amazing Polly. I don't know what that is. We are talking about him because you did a horrible job raising him, Deb. I mean, I think that she tried to like make him smart and intellectual because he used such big words, but like as far as accountability and becoming an adult, horrific job, horrific. Enki or Crocker, I'm calling you Crocker, said, I plan on attending several days of the trial. Justice for Maddie and maybe a little closure for Tyler, Tatiana, and their families. That would be so cool. If you could go to the trial, I would go. Like, if I was able to, I would be there. I'm real interested in the people that get to go. I would love to see what you see and things like that that we're not going to be privy to with the news cameras. Soul Hats, good to see you. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to probably read this email and end for the day. All right, so this is his response against Sunday, April 6th, 2025 at 7:32 p.m. He says, "Hey Jessica, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate your candor. To begin answering your questions, I will go in order on the message. I think that's the easiest way for us ADH peeps to do it. I always split between calling it ADD and ADHD because when I was diagnosed, they were still two separate things. But I think these days it's all just considered ADHD and just comes in different flavors. Like again, trying to be funny, so funny, flavors, not. Just so that you know, since we're talking about the differences, ADD is going to be attention deficit disorder, and ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So one of them is like has the hyperactive in it. I'd be ADD, not ADHD, because I have attention deficit disorder. I'm not hyperactive. If that's what that means, it could mean like hyperactivity in your brain. So if I got that wrong, I do apologize. Donna, I don't. But you know what? When I get done, I'll email and see if I can get a copy of the witness list. But I don't know that they're going to release it. I don't know if that'll be released to the public. Mrs. Tree said the mother will fake continued love for Stephen Stearns after seeing the evidence. I think they've seen some. I mean, they've got to know. They've got to know. And if I had to guess, I would think that his dad probably submitted a FOIA request. If this was my child, I would. I would want to know everything. No, especially in Florida where we have the sunshine laws. And I knew people were putting this on YouTube. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I would be down there with my damn credit card getting that information on the spot. And I bet they have. There's no such thing as ADD anymore, said Indy. Really? I didn't know that. Hilson House of Crazy. Welcome and thank you for being here. See why Stephen Stearns is a professional victim. Mom did him no justice raising him to be that way, but actually have respect and feel bad for Chris. I'm right there with you. I think Chris is fed up and done with a lot of shit. I think that we've heard that they sleep in separate rooms. I remember hearing that somewhere. I don't know if it's been verified, but I don't think that they're
She been gone. She been gone.
Weird, y'all. I'm sorry for the people that left, but like, damn, why? Why was it doing that? Are we back? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because it's being weird. Like my whole thing like just disappeared and I spent so long trying to pull these messages back up. I thought I was here. Girl, I was like, I need Hio. I was like, I need Hio. She gotta help me. All right. Sorry about that. I sincerely apologize. StreamYard was like, nope, not today. Let's go back. Let's do this so that I can go. I want to get this last email in and then I'm going to go before we have any more issues because of this damn storm. That was weird. You saw that on my screen yesterday and it stuck in your head and your brain created more. Hio made that for me. All right. So we're going to read this and then I'm going to go because the storm evidently's got some kind of power going on. I don't know what the hell. All right. Where were we at? It was called ADD and ADHD. Okay. Talking about different flavors of ADD and ADHD. So to start, yes, being alone all the time sucks. When TVs and movies depict the hardship of being in the box, solitary, isolated confinement, they really give a basic impression. People, right here, people really do lose their minds and go crazy in solitaire, sometimes only after a few weeks or months. Luckily, I've always been okay, right there. I want to skip the next sentence just for a second where he's talking about people really do lose their minds and go crazy and solitary, sometimes after only a few weeks or months. But it's been 13 months in my in isolation, with many more to go, most likely. So he's trying to make me feel sorry for him and anybody else. Some people lose their mind after only a few weeks or months. I've been here for a year and a month with many more to go, most likely. Feel sorry for me. Like, we all should be glad I haven't lost my mind. I don't think he ever had one to begin with. I think that's, if he did, he would not have done that to a freaking 8-year-old. Luckily, I've always been somewhat self sufficient when it comes to keeping myself entertained, and being an introvert has made me able to withstand this better than most people. But it's been 13 months in isolation with many more to go, most likely. Right here, luckily, I've always been somewhat self sufficient when it comes to keeping myself entertained. That's interesting. If he was an only child, I wouldn't find that to be weird. But he had an older brother to play with. Like, was there just so many years in between them that they didn't? I mean, was it Stefan's whole life that his brother really didn't want shit to do with him? And being an introvert has made me able to withstand this better than most people. I'm better than your average person. I'm superior. I am more intellectual. Think of me as better than most people. And he's referencing being an introvert, and it's been 13 months in isolation. But I mean, again, I'm better. That's what that sentence said. Mystic, I had to question, was he grooming me, or was he? I mean, again, like I said, we need to make the hashtag. Who's manipulating who? When I had asked myself that question, I was like, I'm not. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. And you'll see, there's going to be more time in between replies to his messages, because, and I make up excuses because I didn't want to talk to him. Like, I was done with it. Deb's number one, said Tom. That's what I was saying. Deb's number one. The only thing we have in common with Deb is that most of us want Jen locked up too. That's true. Take his bait. I mean, I did, Mrs. Tree. I knew that he was baiting me at some points, and I took the bait, making him think, so he would continue to talk and feel more comfortable and divulge more information to me. Give him the bozo button. They put the superior ones on death row, said Tom. I am medicated for ADD. My grandson, he has ADHD. They are two separate things. Thank you, Mad Monkey. The judge said yesterday that the defendant is entitled to see the evidence. See, I was curious because it was hard for me to hear a lot of that, so I'm glad you cleared that up for me, Rio. I am not hyper, however, my brain is, and I take medication to slow it down. My grandson has a hyper, and he takes medication to slow down the physical part, but they are two different things. Thank you for that. Nicole, good to see you. I don't know if I said hey to you, sweetheart. Okay, he says, no, I don't have a TV to watch, just my books and my cards. I also have Sudoku puzzles, but you're right. There's only so much of that you can do before you are bored to death and ready to scream. Lately, I have gotten some, quote, learn to draw, unquote, books, and I'm trying to work on those skills, which I have never tried to use before. And surprise, surprise, I kind of suck at drawing, LOL. So, I mean, that's pretty, normal. I think it's interesting that he's trying to learn to draw, but if we're going to talk about, I'm not trying to make it a gender thing, right? But like, if you're in prison all day, there is nothing to do. Like I referenced, I got sent coloring books, and I was able to trade that. It was like money, the pages and the coloring books for you to color, because there's color pencils on the kiosk where you order canteen, and you could get it with your canteen. So it's like money in there because everybody's bored to death. So having something to do like color or whatever, I mean, something different than playing spades or solitaire all the time is like, very highly sought after. Now, if we're going to talk about a male's not necessarily going to want to sit there and color the adult coloring books as much as a female would. Statistically, I should say. So getting a learn to draw book would make more sense. I get that. He says, to be fair, I only have a black ballpoint pen to work with, but still, it's like trying to use muscles you've never used before. It's awkward, but I'm trying. I'm still just working on basic techniques like how to make the various lines when shading an object. I'm not even actually shading anything yet, just literally learning the various types of shading to use. I should clarify, I am using a Learn to Draw Cartoons and also a Learn to Draw Anime books right now. So I'm working from the anime book. Who didn't see that coming? I want to know. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Just a minute. What age? Okay, anime viewership statistics from 2025. The average age of anime viewer globally is approximately 28 years old. So that's going to be like the middle, right? Like the middle age. Like there's some people that are younger, some people that are older, but statistically your average person is going to be about 28 years old. How old is he? Like 38 or something like that. I'm like right there. What is this? I don't even want to click on it. 1,000 views. What even is this? Understanding Sakura Haruko's age in anime culture. Like, and I literally what I typed in, what age of people are into anime most statistically? What even is it? Like, I mean, it proves so much right there. Just that coming up. Hey, Blue Jay. 39 now, right. So, 11 years older than your average anime viewer? Why are we learning to draw cartoons in anime? I mean, I guess because he's into it, but it's still weird. Like, why not learn how to draw a freaking actual person? You could draw pictures of COs or something and make money. I don't know. Anyway, and the shading techniques are the type of hatching, cross hatching, and stippling you would typically see in a manga graphic novel. Y'all, I was talking about that last night, the manga books. That's what he's really into. Look at this. That's manga. Top 10 hottest webtoon comics. Let's see images. It's his porn. Look at that. There's a little kid. They usually have like the busty, the women are very busty and things like that. Very submissive, very, like this one has a very short skirt. Them damn manga. That's his porn. He's so damn smart. I can't say. He wants us to believe he is. Speaking of which, continuing with the email, speaking of which, I'm also begging my family to send me some manga graphic novels. I mean, again, that's his porn. Just to get some entertaining visual media instead of regular novels for a change. So why not ask for just anime in general? Why does it have to be manga? Where they have the women that look like they have breast implants as a cartoon. Pretty much, in my opinion, allegedly, manga is like anime porn. Yeah. I wish I had a laptop or computer. My phone's screen is too small. I'm sorry, Blue Jay. Anime has really disgusting and sick subculture called lollies or LOLIS. They're children, but really 1,000+ year old dragons and some shit like that. Yeah, that's insane. And that's a way that they made it okay for men to be okay with looking at children, probably doing disgusting things. I don't get into that shit. So I have no idea what lollies is. Even the name is like, what? Hey, Stoic. Maybe I'm thinking hentai. It could be. It might be hentai. I could have it wrong. So maybe manga is not. I think it's like porn that maybe he could get away with in jail, but I could be wrong. Thank you for the correction if I am wrong. I appreciate that, Blue Jay. I'm sorry that you don't have a laptop. I'll tell you that I started this channel and like for like I mean, until like just recently, I had the cheapest laptop that you could possibly get from Walmart. It's like $180, and I ran my YouTube channel with it. Now I know not everybody has like $180 laying around, but you can get them at Walmart and they work really good. It's subcultures. Okay. Short for Lolita. Quit, Basil, baby. I can't sit here and pet you all day. Not all is bad, but yeah, there's some devious stuff. Manga and anime isn't all porn. Okay, thank you guys for letting me know. Manga is not bad. I mean, no more than other teen romance type stuff. Keyword there being teen, but thank you guys for the correction. Lollies is the character name. Lolicon is subculture. Because allegedly speculating people who are into what Stearns is into are into manga, hentai, and girls who dress in Lolita-like attire too. Yeah. Manga is comic books, anime is cartoons. I was like, dang, I love Naruto, and I'm old. All right. He says, just to get some entertaining visual media instead of the regular novels for change. I'm trying to get some Naruto, Bleach, and Shaman King manga. So I guess it is like comics. I thought it was like the one. I thought that manga was like the one where you see the girls that are like literal almost porn, like where they're wearing like a shirt where it looks like they are a cartoon drawn with breast implants, like bent over in like a tennis skirt or something. Usually with the big eyes and the open mouth. I don't know what that is. I thought it was manga, but I could be wrong. He says, I've read at this point maybe 120 books in the time I've been here. Everybody reads a lot when you're in jail because there's nothing else to do. I read a whole book, and that's the only time I've read a whole book. Some of those are the same books that I've read 2, 3, 4, or more times, but still counts as far as I'm concerned. There is a book cart that offers 2 books a month to check out, but the rest is all books sent to me by my family. That book cart has them, what did him and his mother so eloquently put it as, ovulating books to make women ovulate, which was absolutely disgusting. See, it's the things like that that she says that people are like, absolutely not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So all the freaks that are sitting in their basements, that's how they get their porn, because they're too weird to go out and meet real people. Yeah. A lot of them look at it online. Have you guys seen Little Waf? I have no idea. It's animated. I have Grok. I don't know how to use it though. Mr. Speculating is trying to show me. Okay, he says, I think I must have about or close to 70 to 80 books by now. About 40 of them are in my property storage currently, and the rest are in my property bag in my cell. Can you imagine, like $20 a piece, 70 to 80 books? That's a lot of money his parents are shelling out, plus commissary, plus hot plates, plus root beer barrels and lemon drops and all the fucking shit. They need to find them Tamagotchis. About 40 of them are in my property court storage currently, and the rest are in my property bag in my cell. I understand the falling asleep while reading thing, but when it's all you have to do, it gets a lot easier to power through. And yes, books are almost always better than movie versions, especially Ready Player One. The book was way better and so different from the movie. There is one movie that I will say I like better than the book, and that is Jaws. Now, remember, we've heard his parents in the jail phone calls mention a lot of these books that they're sending him. So they're sending them to him. He's getting them, and reading them. The movie was better, more exciting, and Matt Hopper or Hooper character was much more likable in the movie. And yes, if I had a Tamagotchi in here, it would be the best kept Tamagotchi in history. And then he put probably, trying to be cute. Probably. I probably wouldn't forget it because, I'm in prison, I'm in jail for all these horrible things that I've done to a child. I would probably not forget to take care of a digital pet. Not. Quote, child of darkness, unquote, LOL. That's such a typical teacher thing to say. If you say so. Oh, I remember those seatbelt belts. Those were so cool. Right here. You sound like the type of person I definitely would and did chill with back then. He's trying to bait me. He's trying to manipulate me, and I took that bait to keep him talking. DC shoes are great. I was kind of partial to Locky shoes myself or the basic Vans. I like Etnies. I've never heard of Locky. He says, having a baby squirrel was an interesting experience. He was a frenetic little fellow. See that vocabulary? I would not ever use a word like that just in general conversation. And again, I think that's Deb's doing. But an absolute laugh riot at times, too. He would leap halfway across the room on your shoulder, and if someone was not expecting it, it was a good source of comedy. I don't think that would be funny or safe to the squirrel because, like, if a squirrel just jumps across the room when you're at somebody's house and lands on your shoulder, you're probably going to smack it off, and that would hurt the squirrel. I don't think that's funny. Sorry. Why are you... Who are we talking about? It would be the only one in prison. It would be the only Tamagotchi in prison. It would, because nobody else would be wanting that. Blue Jay said, that's crazy. I thought they only allow an inmate so many books. So what's he doing with all the books? Sending it back to his parents or putting it in his belongings and storage? I think he's got some in his cell, but he's putting them in his storage, in his property bag. So when you go, you have like a bag that has like all the clothes, any jewelry you had on, your wallet. If you're a female, it has your purse. Mine, one time I got in trouble and I had weed in my pocket. That was when I was smoking weed. And I didn't have weed on me, right? But I wore this jacket that I had my bowl in a bag of weed. And it was really good weed. And I didn't have it on me, so I didn't get the charge. But like it was in my property because it was the jacket I was wearing when I went in for, I think it was that time I did 60 days. And when they pulled it out, they searched the jacket again because the smell of the weed was still so strong in it. But anyway, so you have like this locker where they keep your property, and when you get out or whatever, you get all of the stuff in your property back. So he's having all of his books put there. Sorry. I am Jessica, yes. Allison, me, I was emailing him. Okay. He unfortunately died from choking on a piece of bark from chewing on a stick in his enclosure. I don't know if I believe that. I don't think a squirrel would die from chewing on a stick that was in his enclosure, but okay. He died in my hands. That was a heartbreaking experience for me. So here, he died in my hands. Like, I do believe that poem says, as I held you in my arms. So again, are we talking about Maddie or are we talking about the squirrel? As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you, is what the poem says. And again, we got a squirrel dying in his hands. Is that some kind of Freudian slip? Like, that's weird to me. But your pet starlet sounds so cool. Starlings are very smart birds and natural vocal mimics too. They can reproduce human voices in a scary, accurate way. he would say a few things that we said. It was really interesting because I thought only a parrot could do that, but Starlet did do that. He mimicked my voice and said things right down to tone of voice. Coincidentally, this made me sick and pissed off. Coincidentally, the crest or sigil on my family coat of arms is a male starling. That made me sick. That coat of arms on his back has a starling on it, just like my Starlet. Nice to meet you, Vicky. I think he's full of shit too. Fabricated bullshit. I am Jessica, yes. It is kind of sus, isn't it? I think he lied at a lot of it. Okay. It's a symbol of divine providence. Yes, it does sound like Starlet finally made the journey with his own Birdie Peoples. Birdie Peoples. But it's cool that he stayed with you for a while at least, and you got the satisfaction of knowing he had a better and longer life than he would otherwise without your help. 87 was your year, eh? Yep, we're lucky to be at the tail end of the 80s. We got to remember a little of the 80s and experience the 90s in all their glory, for which young kids growing up, the 90s was pretty awesome. So many great things we had back then. Kids these days don't even know. I'm like, that's weird to me. I don't know. Kids these days don't even know. If it was coming from somebody else, I might not think that much of it. But it's like, did you feel like you needed to mentor kids on what it was like to live in the 80s? Did you feel like you needed to educate them on all of these things? It's weird coming from him. Are you thinking about Maddie? And when you reference kids these days don't even know, are you thinking about Madeline and telling her about what it was like in the 90s and 80s? I don't know. That's weird. I don't like it. And we are the last generation that remembers MTV still having actual music videos. Right there, instead of referencing Power Rangers at the end of the other email, why not reference MTV in the music videos? Because a lot of people say that. Holly said, I'm behind because I had to pause for a while. I'm on the part where you say you want a mammal. I rescued 4 raccoons. They're cool. It's like having a cat mixed with a monkey and a wild toddler. That's interesting. Yep. Starlings. Yeah, his name was Starlet. A squirrel would understand chewing on wood. I doubt the choking story. I do too. I do too. His sons have done an amazing job holding his creepy butt to the fire. We moved on to you now. I would have to look into the case. We talking about Diddy? Yeah. Zut, good to see you. Every generation thinks their generation was the best. That's true. 60s were the best, says Miss Tree. I think I would have loved the 60s. Okay. Or even going outside to play before the time of cell phones in every pocket, widespread internet usage, and social media. And then by the time that all came into full swing, we were already in our teens and able to take it in as it came along. Oh, yeah, I know Gargoyles. That's a nice little hit of nostalgia. That's a nice little nostalgia hit right there. Like we're talking about a fucking hitting a joint. I don't like the way he uses the word nostalgia. Maybe I just don't like him. I don't know. I loved that show too. Did you really though? Not many people knew about the show Gargoyles. And I don't think you loved that show too. I think you're just trying to be relatable. And also Pirates of Darkwater was another one around that time that I enjoyed. Now you might have liked that one, but I don't think you like Gargoyles. Making things is a cool skill. Creation is a satisfying thing. I think your vocabulary is more than sufficient. Compared to his, my vocabulary is not more than sufficient. So again, he's trying to groom and manipulate me and make me continue to talk to him, which at this point, I'm just trying to get him to keep talking to me. So I guess that's why we talked for so long. Try getting up to turn the TV channel. 3 choices, right? You never heard hit a joint? I don't know. That's what I used to say. And I don't think my own is really very far beyond yours at all. I don't so don't short sell yourself. Again, he's trying to compliment me and groom me and manipulate me and to continue talking continuing to talk to him. And I'm going to feed into it because I'm like, oh, you want to compliment me? Okay, we can go down that road. Please feel comfortable with me. Because, I mean, again, keep in mind, this is small talk, but I'm trying to get him to be comfortable enough with me to tell me things. And he does. He talks about the TBI. He talks about Jen. There's a few things he talks about in these emails. It sounds like you are the creative type. I enjoy the odd craft here and there myself. Using your hands to make or create a craft or something is an enormously satisfying feeling. Though my own crafts tend to be along the lines of painting things, not like an artist with a canvas, but like applying color and paint jobs to existing objects. That's the Warhammer shit. Or also casting things from resin. That was a craft I had recently gotten into but hadn't progressed much yet. What sort of things do you make? I'm about to lose the tablet soon, so I gotta go now. Hope to hear back soon. So tomorrow we'll pick up where I email him back what kind of things that I make. I enjoy breaking these emails down with y'all and trying to get that's crazy, Mrs. Tree. I enjoy breaking these things down with you guys and trying to understand the psychology behind it and talking about how, I mean, because it's interesting to go back and see how he was trying to manipulate, groom, and compliment me. And I like talking about it with you guys. And sometimes you guys pick up on things that I don't pick up on. So I really enjoy sharing these with you guys and talking about it. Thank you, Michelle. Patrick, Lord of mercy. I don't know, but you seem to be very concerned with those kind of questions. I would have to ask you the same question and tell you that this is not the channel for you. I don't even think this is the platform for you. Try OnlyFans, TNA Flicks, Pornhub. All of those places would be great for the type of stuff you're interested in. You are a suspect in this case. Really, Patrick? Well, I don't know what to say to that. Good luck. Lord of mercy. Chuck-a-legs, good to see you. Love you, AS. Thank you for sharing. I understand what you were doing more after today. Thank you. Thank you for that. We got a store that'll send you a coat of arms. Really? Interesting. Yeah, troll on. I mean, like, if you're gonna troll, at least be a good troll. Can we not talk about, think I am a suspect in this case? Like, why? Why? Like, be a good troll. Yeah. Was he here yesterday? I saw him the day before. I accidentally highlighted his comment, but all right, y'all. Yeah, trolling the dungeon. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go for the day. If nobody has told you, you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, and we'll continue going over these emails. I think tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be dropping anything new because we did go over these to some extent. I don't know who all saw them, but after that, we'll probably get into some new stuff that y'all haven't heard yet. Might get into some tomorrow, but I'm not sure. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Stay away from Patrick, who is a suspect in this case, evidently. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Bye.